get started. Does anyone want to get out?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Friday Night Frenzy. I am Nick, and here this week on the Friday Night Frenzy, remember, WonderBat is canon, and the topics, they're more like a set of guidelines. How you doing, Kynal? And yes, the Phoenix does rise. Joining me today is the newest co-host. Let's bring him in.
And I have my mind, and a mind needs books like a sword needs a whetstone.
Chris, how you doing? And yes, I am proud to announce that Chris is now the new co-host. He is one of the new co-hosts. Jared is still having his position, but Jared is so you'll be seeing a lot more of Chris here. He's going to be a weekly fixture here on the show. How you doing, man?
Hell yeah, man! I drink and I know things.
Hopefully, in that order.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great to be here, man.
Yeah. So, what you've been doing? What you've been playing? Kind of give some updates.
Let's see. Playing wise, let's see. I'm still playing a little bit of Street Fighter 6, even though there's a lot of woke stuff in that kind of turns me off. And Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and that game. Yeah, sometimes I swear to God that game trolls you.
Also, I gotta. I'm kind of scrolling through Twitter. Parrot just said Infantile better bring his. Actually, I'm just gonna share it just because
oh no,
it's just such a good comment. I gotta shout out to Parrot Head. He's a great dude. But it's just such a good comment. I had to highlight it. I had to.
Nice. Tommy's over there. What the hell? Hell yeah. But yeah, dude, like have you seen the odd pushback for or no, let me rephrase that. Have you seen I don't know if it was the guys who made the animated like Ruby series or whatever, but they like did like a Superman series. And
Justice League versus Ruby.
Yeah. But no, there's actually like a new Superman movie or a new Superman series or whatever.
Oh yeah, My Time as Superman, which looks like a Tumblr animation from 2015.
Yeah, like I can't comment on the writing because I'm not gonna watch it, so I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say whether or not the writing is bad. But like somebody showed a clip and it was the Livewire who started her. She was a villain from I believe Batman
Superman the Animated Series.
Yeah, Superman the Animated Series. And she's like this like, white chick with like blue hair and like, kind of hot svelte little unitard thing going. And like, and she was facing off against Slade Wilson, Deathstroke.
Okay.
And somebody said, look at what they did to my Deathstroke or whatever. And I honestly thought that their blackwash / pink washed version of Livewire, with the mental illness haircut, was what they did to Deathstroke.
Speak of the devil, Parrothead. Did you actually see we highlighted your tweet? Like if you kind of rewind a little bit, we actually highlighted with honestly, Parrothead, I would not be surprised.
Yeah, but it's like it's bad when like the pink wash / blackwashing is preferable to what they did to Deathstroke. He's like this like little like blonde haired kind of dandy.
Well, what they did is, are you familiar with the Tumblr sexy man?
Oh God,
it's an archetype like certain types of like a certain type of character. Honestly, they turned him into a Tumblr sexy man. That's literally what they did.
Japanese yaoi.
Like I'm not gonna lie, I've done some bait myself. Like Gladden was I was kind of pulling from that archetype myself. So it's like I'm guilty of it myself. Full disclosure, because like I know that like somewhere down the line someone might call me out on that, so I'm just owning it. Like, you know, there's degrees to this.
Yeah, but it's like this is Slade Wilson, who like is like a scary, like gruff mercenary. Like, you know, he's got more in line with the villain from Avatar than he does with like a blonde, like almost looked like an elf, like a male, like blonde elf thing with the hair and everything.
Yeah, like honestly, turning Deathstroke into like a Tumblr sexy man, it just there's certain characters it might work with. Like I could see turning the Joker into that kind of like the Joker, Two-Face, kind of like Lex Luthor. Even I could maybe see like you'd have to give him hair, but you know, but like Slade Wilson is it's kind of one of those things where Slade Wilson is kind of like a very masculine character, and his characterization is very wrapped up in his masculinity.
Yeah.
So, strip that away from him, it's like you're stripping away core elements of his character.
Yeah, exactly. And like not only that, but like all of the female characters are all masculine in that, or more masculine. Like Lois Lane looks like a 14-year-old boy. And like all of the dudes are now like kind of like Superman, like as Parrot had just linked me, it's like Superman literally, instead of like running into a phone booth because they don't exist anymore, he like does a Sailor Moon transition into his Superman outfit now. And they literally do and it's like, that's not Superman.
Like, no. Yeah, obviously there's no phone booth, but like even if you go back and watch the Reeves movies, he transforms many different ways. Like there's one transformation, I think in Superman 3, where he literally just walks through a car, like he goes in the back of each seat of a car. Yep. You know.
Yeah.
You know, there's tons of them. Honestly, like in my opinion, the best way to do it nowadays is to show walking towards the camera, ripped up in his shirt. Like, oh my god, can you imagine like the shirt budget for Clark? Like comes home from like, Clark, did you rip open another shirt? Do you know how many buttons I have to buy every week?
Yeah, we're gonna use Velcro.
It's like, yeah.
I know Hulk was the Incredible Hulk, man. He's got it bad. Yeah, Superman's got it worse.
Oh dear God! Like those stretchy pants, those have got to be some miracle materials, right there.
Yeah, they're definitely pulling overtime on that.
Oh, it's definitely pulling all right.
Yeah. I mean, he's one taco night away from a colossal wardrobe malfunction.
Oh dear God! Oh my God! No! All right. All right, you've earned this, my friend.
Fuck off, Claude.
If you think the thunderclap with his hands is bad.
Fuck off, Claude.
Yes, Jared actually is not going to be able to be here tonight. He has some stuff come up, so Chris is going to be my pinata tonight. Just no. Just no. Say no, friends. But yeah, before we get into like the main topic here, Parrot Head, no. Parrot Head, now you've earned this.
Fuck off, Claude.
That's what you get, Parrot. That's what you get. Anyway, even though this topic would be a good segue, I want to talk about it. It's kind of got a bug up my ass.
Mm-hmm.
Just no. Like, sorry, Parrot Head, he's slowly breaking my spirit. Anyway, so there was kind of a comment I kind of got into where like we were talking about like old Evanescence albums, and like I told like my personal opinion is like the first one is amazing, top 5 albums, but they really dropped off after that. You know, that's my opinion. Some people can like other stuff, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But like someone else posted like, their newer stuff is the best. Like their old album is dated. You know, even the guitarist said that, and I'm like, see, I don't mind disagreement. You tell me that Fallen is the worst album of all time. I am literally like this. You know, you know, like what you like, dislike what you like. I don't fucking care. But what I don't like is these stupid comments that are like everything else is bad, or like telling me I can't like something. Like calling music outdated it's just weird. Like
Yeah.
So does that mean, Chris, like you were saying before the stream, that Led Zeppelin's outdated? Is that like saying Beatles, Nirvana? I mean, hell, I still regularly listen to like a lot of 60s and 70s music. Like Mamas and the Papas get regular rotation. Music that is literally 50 years old. I mean, hell, I sometimes listen to music from the 50s. I like Johnny Cash. You know, music that came out literally probably before some people's grandparents were born. You know,
I find the closer I get to the present, the fewer and fewer songs I actually enjoy listening to.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time it's basically your music taste stopped evolving after high school, maybe college.
Yeah.
Like I like a lot of 2000 stuff. As far as modern stuff, Ghost is cool. I mean, they're just kind of doing. Oh, hey, Tevia, how we're doing? We're just kind of discussing music right now, and then we'll get into your topic. But we have a guest here. Let me just kind of scroll down. Let's see here. Find it. All right, Chris, say something while I do this, please.
All right. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't even know if it's like just the change in music in general, because like there's still some modern bands I like, but like I'm not a fan of like mumble rap or a lot of like the and to me music when music became a visual medium, it kind of ruined what music was about.
Music's still on MTV.
Yeah.
All right. Let me bring her in. She's waiting in line.
I don't care. I should
Hey.
Hey, Nix, how you doing?
Howdy, I'm doing great. How about you?
Pretty good. Right now we're talking about music and what these kids are listening to these days.
Ah,
Like I will say the pop scene is fine. The pop scene seems to be going through like an 80s, 70s kind of revival for like the past 5 to 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I do like what Billie Eilish is doing. I think she's got some really good songs. Also,
oh, definitely.
Oh,
Hey.
wow.
radio, kill the radio. Like, but
First
yeah.
song on MTV.
Oh yeah, like very poetic.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I do like what Billie Eilish is doing. Honestly, a lot of the pop stars are pretty good. But yeah, mostly for me, music dies in the 2000s. Like there's a lot of like 2000s bands, not much in the 2010s. Like I will say, "Blinding Lights" is a fucking amazing song. I love that song. That song came straight out of the 80s, and I love it.
Nice. Yeah, dude, the Evanescence stuff, like so their first album Origin there, like
Yeah, that was pre-signing.
yeah, exactly. And it had I think his name was Wes Moody or whatever.
Ben Moody.
Oh, Ben Moody, you're right. Yeah, Ben, he his departure was definitely felt after Fallen, because
Yeah, he left partway through the Fallen tour. Do you mind if I pick up this?
Oh yeah.
So Fallen is my top 3 albums of all time. And what I love about Fallen is it kind of has like this techno metal sound that you still, even to this day, nobody's really tapped into. Like this, like with like this whole like heavy guitars, like the techno stuff. Because like the electronic stuff really started to take off to the 2010s, and I haven't seen anyone really kind of do this stuff. It's a really unique sound, and I love it. And I love every song off of Fallen. Maybe not Hello, but it's still a pretty decent song. And then Origins, like the Origin Imaginary, I actually prefer that to the Fallen version, but that's kind of splitting hairs.
Mm-hmm.
But like when they get to the Open Door, at this
time,
there's only 2 good songs on that, and that is Sweet Sacrifice and Call Me When You're Sober. Sweet Sacrifice sounds like it could have been on Fallen. It has that feel to it. The problem is Amy Lee took the band in a more general goth rock direction, which I was not a fan of. personally.
I-
And plus, like, you can really tell how hard it is for Amy as a person to work with. Where the bassist left after the completion of this, and then like they took this long hiatus, and when they came back, he pretty much gutted almost everyone for that like. And if you actually look at the interviews, he's like, "Is this going to be an Evanescence album or an Amy Lee album?" Basically, what it was is it's an Amy Lee album, but they're calling it Evanescence for the marketing. That's all
Yeah.
this is. Basically, Evanescence is like Panic at the Disco. It's a solo project just under a different name.
Dude, well, the thing is like Amy Lee has an absolutely amazing voice,
Yeah.
but she needs to be wrangled in, and Ben did it really. Like you can tell, Ben's got an ear for music, and when he left, like I'm sorry, but like was it the Forbidden Door? What? Like I couldn't like I was listening to it. And I'm like, her voice is clashing with the background music. Like there were parts where she was like harmonizing or whatever, and it was like it's not going with the music. Like it feels like she's trying to like fight against her own like bandmates.
Yeah,
Just
and when
verbally.
they came back and did the album in the early 2010s, it wasn't good. And then she did Symphonia. We're like, oh, I took out the male portion of Bring Me to Life, and okay, Bring Me to Life Symphonia version, it does sound good. I will give it that much. But the rest of the album is just crap. Like, Amy Lee is a great singer. She's an amazing piano player.
Oh yeah.
But
She's a great
her
musician.
ego, she has too much. Like her ego is her own biggest enemy.
Yeah. It's the
You
George
know?
Lucas effect.
Isn't that how it goes for a lot of like music stars though?
Mhm.
They'd
But
be so much better if they could just get out of their own way.
Yeah.
I mean, at least most artists, they at least have the smart enough to like, okay, I'm gonna listen to what the producer says. At least a lot of these artists can at least they reach a point where it's like they can at least put together a good sound. But like her ego was so bad that he couldn't even produce a good sound. It was bad. It was terrible.
Yeah. And these guys cornered the depression music market. Like you listen to like My Immortal, and that is like every like emo sad kids anthem from like the 2000s.
Yeah, they were like they basically were ahead of the emo rock curve. They were basically 3 years early. Because I would say emo rock didn't really kick off until like 06, 07. Oh,
Yeah.
Hey, Accidental Oracle.
Hey. Although I would argue that Field of Innocence is probably a sadder song if you actually listen to the lyrics, because it's about growing up and realizing that adulthood sucks and we're all going to die. And it's like, holy crap, that's dark.
Yeah. The only problem
Honestly-
I had with the emo rock movement is every band wanted to be Nirvana and none of them were.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Kyle, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to
Nightwish.
that. Like,
Yes.
okay. So one of the good things about modern times is like I have the entire world music at my fingertips, and I gotta say,
Absolutely.
Europe has so many fucking amazing. Like if you want your Evanescence fix, just go to Europe because
Yep.
there are so many amazingly great rock bands, metal bands with female singers. Nightwish, Epica, Xandria, Birthday Massacre. I'm just trying to think. So many of them. I'm forgetting some. You know, not like Nightwish, like so many, and they're all fucking amazing, and I love it. So Broken is a really great song. I think
I like that one.
the second half gets a little repetitive, but it's a really good song. Arch
Yeah.
Enemy, yep. I will say, I really respect Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm. Like her music can be a bit generic, but at least she makes it interesting, and she seems really humble. Like as an ambassador of rock and roll, I respect the hell out of her.
Mhm.
Like seriously, I may not listen to a lot of Hailstorm, but whatever I do, it at least like it's not. It may be generic sounding, but it still kind of has like there's passion behind it. There's still like he's like, you know what I'm saying. They're at least trying, so I respect the hell of Lizzie Hale. For like Pretty Reckless, they're okay, but I feel like Taylor, like, oh hey, look, I'm sexy, I'm wearing skimpy clothes on stage playing a guitar. I think if you watch her videos, it's just more about, hey, look, I'm hot.
Yeah,
You know.
I hate that. Like, for me, like music is a completely audible thing, and the visuals are just irrelevant. And
Yeah, that's a problem you often get with like female bands. Like, look at
Yeah.
any band lineup photo. Look at like it's like
oh yeah,
it's usually only the woman is the lead singer. Like you'll never see like a female guitarist. Trust me. They learned that their lesson in the '70s with the Runaways. Why you can't have more than one female in these kind of bands.
dude.
It's always
Nancy
the
Wilson.
woman.
Man. Whew.
Like just the guys are usually all dressed in black, like very normalish looking clothing, and the woman is dressed in like usually red or some bright colors, like fancy clothes. It's whereas if you look at an all guy band, it's usually about like the whole thing. Like that's the only problem I have with like all female, like a female fronted rock band.
Dude. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
If you were to look at my playlist, you'd swear I was like an old lesbian because the first out. Okay, when I first got birthday money, like I went down to this store and I bought the first 2 albums with my own money. Like that was like the big achievement. I think I was like 5 or 6 years old. And the 2 albums and yes, they were albums. They weren't cassettes. I'm dating myself, but the first 2 albums was Michael Jackson's Off the Wall and Dreamboat Annie by Heart. And those have probably been 2 of my favorite albums ever since. Like everything kind of stems from that. And from there, like Heart was like a gateway drug into Fleetwood Mac. And for me, 70s Heart and a little bit of the early stuff is freaking amazing. And I had no idea what these people looked like. And then I saw Nancy Wilson. I'm like, God damn.
Yeah. For me, I'm a little bit younger. See, I grew up listening to a lot of like my older sisters and my mom's music. So like that's why a lot of 80s and 70s music really interests me. But like, as far as what I grew up on, a lot of like late 90s, early 2000s stuff. 3 Doors Down, The Better Life is I listened to that thing so often in high school. It was
Hell
nice.
yeah.
Obviously, like Linkin Park, I was really big into. Like, yes, I was a Nickelback fan. Honestly, I think the hate
shame.
is overblown.
Look at this.
I would say
photograph.
That's actually a really good song.
Yeah,
Fuck
it is.
you.
It is.
No, look at Deadpool. He says it best, man. He's like, why's all the hate?
Because okay, I gotta do this. I gotta fucking do this. If you actually listen to Photograph, it's actually a comment on the dangers of nostalgia. Like it's actually like a big and it did like this was like a decade before the nostalgia boom, and like they're talking about how dangerous nostalgia is. Like, sorry, it's just like I got a little touchy there. But yeah, like obviously, like Evanescence, I got for my 14th birthday, and I still love that song. I literally have like a bunch of CDs down there. Like late high school, I got into Nirvana. They're my favorite band. But yeah, and it's
you like the Live and Unplugged in New York?
Oh, that's my favorite album of theirs. That's literally my
Dude,
I
the
love
Man
that
Who
album.
Saved the World. Holy crap! Better than
Oh
Bowie.
yeah,
Sorry.
I love the fact that he used. Hey, Chow, how you doing?
Hey.
I love the fact that he used a distortion pedal on an electric guitar.
Yes.
Yeah, we're just talking about music right now and kind of just like this kind of stuff. Nix, what was some of your favorite music growing up?
So, I was kind of in a similar.
Wait. Before you do that, we have I got to do this. Oh, buddy. All right, so Nix was about to say something, but Fior, we're talking about music, and then we're gonna slap something else in. So,
hey, no worries, man.
Nix, go ahead.
So I was kind of in a similar situation to you, actually. I grew up listening mostly to my grandmother's music, actually. And she was very into Nickelback, Shania Twain. Her favorite artist of all time was Johnny Reed, but
That don't impress me much.
Anytime I'd be getting ready for school, on the radio would be like a station that played like 80s, 90s music.
Nice.
So I grew up listening to a lot of that, and I hear a lot of Pink Floyd and Nirvana because that was kind of also what she was into.
I'm so happy.
All the Osbourne,
Today I found
AC/DC, Kiss, you name it.
Yes.
And you kind of got me into a state where I was kind of like, anytime someone asks me what my favorite band is or my favorite singer, I'm like, I don't have one. I just
Yeah.
like music.
Yeah, like
I
always-
know what songs make me feel good, and I like that.
Oh. Okay, respect Oracle. You have good taste in music. You have okay.
Ronnie James, baby.
I mean,
Oh,
hey,
we
there's
got
nothing
him.
wrong with Dio.
Yeah, love it.
If you got something wrong with Dio, there's got to be something wrong with you.
Yeah,
Well,
seriously.
okay. Here's a question though. So, Black Sabbath, better with Ozzy or better with Dio?
Ozzy.
Absolutely Ozzy.
Ozzy has like probably one of the most unique voices, and like Ozzy when you hear him.
Yeah,
Like-
even when he
Oh,
had
definitely.
like the filter to kind of make himself sound a little bit more metallic,
Mhm.
you can't confuse Ozzy for any other singer, and vice
That's true.
versa.
That's true.
Even in his most recent stuff, it actually still sounds decent because it's Ozzy. Yeah, even if you listen to like Ozzy's recent albums, where it's like probably half of it is his effects that make him like actually work, it still sounds good because it's Ozzy.
Well, I mean, Ozzy's illness, which affected his speaking, actually did not affect his singing voice.
Yeah.
Ironically enough, but he definitely. And honestly, his newest album, which I managed to listen to, because my stepfather, he is a huge fan of Black Sabbath and especially Ozzy.
Mhm.
Oh my god, it was just amazing. And
Well, the
the
thing with
music video
Ozzy-
he had where Jason Momoa was playing as Ozzy.
Oh,
was great.
damn.
Well, here's the thing about Ozzy. It's Ozzy, and let's be honest, by extension, Sharon. I think Sharon deserves a lot of credit for his longevity.
Oh,
Has
yeah.
always been really good about choosing good collaborators. Like
Oh, yeah.
obviously, Randy Rhoads, like one of the best. I don't think Ozzy would be anywhere popular today without Randy Rhoads setting that. And
Zach
Ozzy
Wild.
has continued
Yeah, no.
to choose really good collaborators like Zach Wild. Like his guitarists are always like the best, or they go out to be like some of the best guitarists ever. And he always chooses. He's really smart, but like him or Sharon. Like I'm sorry, we got to give Sharon credit. Like they're always really good at choosing collaborators, and I think that is also we've got to give like partial credit for our Ozzy's longevity.
Yeah, because without Sharon, Ozzy would have been gone in like the 70s.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he had his problems.
That's putting it
What I
lightly,
think-
but we'll leave it there.
Sharon.
Funniest
God,
thing, my
that's
grandmother
wrong.
actually.
Oh, sorry.
My grandmother actually had Crazy Train as her ringtone when,
That is
on
an
like
amazing
one of those really
song.
old early cell phones. So anytime I hear it, I immediately think someone's trying to call my grandmother.
Crazy Train is just such a good song. I'm just, like I think people don't like. Obviously, people recognize it as a great song, but it is literally one of the greatest songs ever made. I'm sorry.
I love it. It's amazing. It just makes me sad
Absolutely.
now because she's like 11 years gone. So anytime I
Oh.
hear it, I'm like, oh.
Oh,
Although I
soon.
do say I have to prefer All Around the Mountain
All right.
for the at least for the
guys-
opening guitar riff.
Guys, I have to apologize. Chaos is about to.
This is just what they want. You're playing their game. Then I'll play dirty.
Hey, Eagle Rider.
Damn, what a way to introduce a girl.
Well, the stream is officially gone off rails, people. Eagle Rider. has entered the chat.
we might as well say that we are on the crazy train.
I told you guys I was hyper last week. I'm not usually that bad. Or a couple weeks ago, whenever.
All right. So now that Eagle's here, let's kind of jump into the main topic. At least try and respect like what we're here for. So, so basically, we comic books and basically, what is it with these creators and not really respecting the audience? You know.
so I have a theory about this, and I don't know. Put your tinfoil hats on. But have you guys ever seen Yuri Bezmenov's interviews?
Yes, the communist destabilization.
Yeah. So
Oh.
Yuri Bezmenov was a former KGB propagandist.
Oh
Would
yeah, I
infiltrate-
remember this.
Yeah, he would infiltrate other countries to seed the poisons of Marxism into countries. And Marxism went through a process called ideological subversion, or Activia Meripiriatia. And basically what that meant was it went through 4 stages: demoralization, destabilization, crisis, and then normalization. And the demoralization phase is very simple. It involves getting your professors in college and your media and whatever to demoralize the people through teaching them that everything that they were taught was good is now bad through deconstructionism. And if you haven't noticed, all of our heroes have been deconstructed, every single one of them. And even the normies are starting to take notice, where even the people that aren't into nerdy shit like us just want to watch a football match, and all of a sudden there's a whole bunch of guys kneeling telling them that white people are bad and that our country is a piece of shit, and like the 4th of July is a celebration of tyranny and terror, and that we should all lower our heads and cry because we're terrible people and all that. And it's like, dude, that's demoralization. We are one nation.
See, you're seeing that back to the communist era and the World War II era. It goes before that, actually.
Oh yeah.
If you actually research the early progressive movement in the 1800s and what it came out of, it was birthed from the Fenian socialists.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what actually Kipling wrote the Gods of the Copybook Headings about, was the Fenian socialists taking over and becoming the progressive movement in America here. Mm-hmm. They've written since the mid 1800s that their goal was always to embed themselves in both sides, destabilize, and turn people against each other.
Yeah,
that's always been the plan.
Yeah, the Frankfurt School.
Yeah. Also, yes. I really think Occupy Wall Street really accelerated their plans, because I feel like Occupy Wall Street of like 2009, 2010 really scared the shit out of them, and like you notice how in the 2010s we really started to see like both sides being pitted against each other. Like, you really like. I think what Occupy Wall Street really accelerated that. But I agree with you, Chris. But like you said, I think this whole tactic is starting to hit a brick wall. Because like I felt for a long time, I think I might have mentioned this here and there, that once this shit hits the normies, it's gonna stop. Because look at what happened with Bud Light, happened with Target. It's getting to a point where like the normies can't avoid it, because the normies like, okay, yeah, trans rights, we'll wave the flag, Black Lives Matter. It's like they were largely detached from it. It didn't really impact their bigger lives, like they didn't care. But now that it is starting to impact their lives, now they're starting to fight back, and I think the next 5 to 10 years are going to be really interesting.
Well, and you mentioned the issue with Target, and there's kind of a double-edged sword and a hypocrisy with that one too, because all these people that were protesting Target and saying, "Don't give them business, they're evil. Look at what they're supporting with the trans stuff for kids stuff." It's like, they do realize that Walmart had the trans clothes for kids and stuff in the fucking entries, and they're actually funding a lot of that movement for the medical profession. It's like you don't have an innocent company in this. Nope. One was a little more overt with it than the other, but they're both doing it. Yes, I know. Everybody's noticing the cat.
So you see, here's the difference. Poor people shop at Walmart. Rich people shop at Target. And we only care about what the rich people think. If you haven't guessed my tone, I was being sarcastic.
I know. It's like, I'm sorry. I grew up enough in the rural states. It's the freaks that are in both. And would you two not chase each other around, you little fucking weirdos? I mean, sorry.
And it's like you're really starting to see this in comics, where they're really trying to demoralize. You got like the Dan Slotts of the world, who, by the way, I am blocked by Dan Slott. Badge of honor here.
Yeah,
he blocked me a long time ago. So did Wade. So did a bunch of the others. Hell, back before anybody knew me, part of what started my war and brought me into the Comics Gate was freaking Gail Simone trying to get her trolls to harass me because I called out racism in one of her posts. And her trying to get all of her followers to call me this white supremacist and throwing a fit when I said, but I'm not.
Yeah.
And now she has me blocked, even though she was the one who was harassing and stalking me for forever. It's like,
well, they get the cronies to dogpile you too. It's like they can really claim. Sorry,
Chris. I love it when they have the gall to call a black person a white supremacist. Like,
remember, we're nerds for a reason. We're nerds for a reason. I'm sitting here in a fucking Roswell shirt.
Or like when they're trying to say that like Asians benefit from white.
Oh yeah,
supremacy.
I'm white adjacent now. Thanks.
I'm sorry, but like 100 years ago, the Chinese were like people like view the Chinese worse than blacks oftentimes.
Dude, Koreans died making that transcontinental railroad, but you'll never see that in any reported history.
Well, so did Celts, but they won't talk about the Irish slavery either.
Oh yeah,
let's be
Irish
honest.
slavery.
I
And-
did the
fuck,
Polish.
I'm
We'll
Irish.
never
Where's
hear
my
about them.
reparations, bitch? Where's my reparations?
But
Literally.
what I love was
Yeah.
I literally had this group of black people try to tell me that natives had it better than blacks and that we oppressed them. It's like, okay, you had 3 tribes
What?
that did take advantage. There were 3 tribes that took advantage of the slavery thing to actually take some black slaves. There were. That's a side note. 3 tribes out of what was at the time almost 1,000 is still over 600.
500 nations.
There's literally over 600, including the ones that aren't officially recognized by the government.
Oh yeah.
Girls
So,
are weird, bitch.
There's
Girls are
over
weird,
600 tribes now, not counting all the ones that were wiped out. 3 tribes participated in this, and they go, look what you natives did to us. It's like, you realize that over 50 of those tribes that were wiped out because of Barbary pirates targeting them.
Yep.
Fuck you, bitches.
Yep.
Dude,
It's like, you fucking bitches. There's a documentary. I don't usually like documentaries. I usually find them very biased and uneven. But I actually found this very factually correct that was released a few years ago. It's called Rumble, the Indians Who Rocked the World. It goes into that they actually erased a lot of the Indian struggles and a lot of the Indian musicians and blackwashed them through the history of rock and metal and music in America. And it actually
Also,
has
we'll
things
get to
in
that
it.
here later.
It actually has things in it where you can see like the walls where, they always show the walls with the white and the colored bathrooms. What they don't usually show you is the broom closet that's like half ripped apart that says Indians in the slur form that was usually next to it because they weren't allowed to touch either. They don't talk about that stuff. They don't talk about the fact that we weren't given liberation or citizenship with the 14th Amendment and all that. They intentionally wrote it so it exempt us because of the treaties. We weren't given citizenship until almost World War II.
Oh, yeah.
They don't talk about any of that. They don't talk about the fact there are
I wouldn't
actually
be surprised.
still ridiculous racist laws that actually restrict our rights, especially if you're on the res.
I wouldn't
well,
be surprised if the
well, what
only
about the
reason they
sports
did
teams?
that. Chris, I need to say this. I wouldn't be surprised if the only reason they gave Native American citizenship is that like, oh, you're citizens. Okay, now we can draft you.
Yeah.
Well,
the wind talkers.
The thing about the political in this, Tavon, and this isn't taking a side to either side because both sides are bullshit. As I said, this was intentionally embedded in both parties, and there's documentation going back to the 1830s showing it. But that's the problem. The political movement has been intentionally embedding itself in every factor of life to take control of our lives.
Yep.
That's what I'm getting at. The reason we're rebelling, the reason we are what we are as a movement is because we recognize that it's all BS. It's all lies. It's all division designed to divide us, to separate us.
Yeah.
And
Yep,
it is their great
this is,
fear is that we will find common ground and realize that most people are not the racists they think we are.
Well, that's
Let's
why all of our
reel things
entertainment
back
is
into
like this.
comics.
Yeah,
Let's,
to bring it back to the comics,
Mhm.
like look at how divided comic fans are now. You've got the people that are like, it's basically like you're a fan of seafood. You go to the same seafood restaurant every weekend. Like every Saturday, I'm going to go get me some seafood, and then one day they start serving you pizza there, and you're like, but that's not what I ordered. I ordered seafood.
and then they tell you, and then they tell you, oh, you don't enjoy pizza? Oh, you either eat the pizza or you're a
you're a
bad
pizza
person.
phobe. And then new people come in and they like the pizza, and they're like, "What the hell's this jackass's problem that likes seafood? I like the pizza better. Go away." And it's like that's happening on a grand scale across all of our entertainment. But
All of
ultimately,
it.
ultimately, that's comics in a nutshell. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I signed up for the X-Men, I didn't want to see the X-Men go to the prom or go to a dinner party. Like
No.
that's like Polly Prissy Pants shit.
Oh my god, that dinner party! Oh my god, I sat there.
Hellfire Gala. Hellfire Gala.
I've got to find the stream I did. I actually had one where me and my friends sat there, and I tore it apart as the artist and the person who used to work in a clothing boutique. I went ballistic on those costumes and that stupid thing.
What's up?
It was
They
interesting.
were awful.
Wasn't
Iceman.
there like one of the writers actually inserted
Yep.
himself into the comic, and he was actually going with Gwenpool, who
It's
is
actually
based
very
off of
common,
who
unfortunately.
actually is based off of Heather Antonos.
Oh, God.
Oh fuck
Yeah.
that wench! I mean,
I-
But Yeah,
but yeah, that's a common belief is that Gwenpool is based off the Heather Angel notes. So
well,
like,
not
the
only
writer
that,
was
it's also
basically
just
going on
very
a date with
common to
Heather
see
Angel.
self-inserts in these newer comics.
See, a self-insert, if you're doing it in a respectful way and you're having that character really try to push these superhero narratives and all that stuff, or you're taking on a part of life in a respectful way that shows the humanity of both sides, I don't have a problem with. It's the fact that when you see these self-inserts, it's always the most whiny, oh, poor me, my race, the face of bullshit, Mary Sue, socialistic, feministic, whatever is they can push to try to divide us further. And they're ridiculous. They're jokes, and they're not good characters. And
like Ray is like basically you got Kathleen Kennedy posting on Tumblr. This is my OC Ray Skywalker. Please don't steal.
Also, you also have to remember, our favorite whipping horse, which is I Am Not Starfire. That is
God.
self-insert.
Not only that, but that's
all you have to do is hold up a picture of the main character of that comic, and its writer. It's basically 1-to-1, and Velma is just as bad.
Well,
Velma is the trash pile nobody wants on either side.
But
that's one place we could come together. Even the leftists hate it.
Well, that's also a key to why there's so much antagonism from these creators. It's because they're self-inserts. You're attacking me. Oh, sorry.
I gotta do something.
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
What up, Forrester? How
Hey, what's up?
Hey.
How color?
Hey.
What is up?
But to kind of expand on the idea of the whole Marxist divide and conquer kind of thing. This whole thing actually came out from academia first, because having gone to college to try and become a historian, you find that it's basically college is the breeding ground of Marxists and socialists. And a lot of the
Hegelian dialectic.
And you can't get around it easily, because if you try to go, well, I'm not going to be part of that college system, I'll go to the schools that aren't teaching that stuff. They're usually pushing basically the alt-right stuff and the lies on the other side. It's like,
and a lot of the time, these people go to what major field? It's usually either some sort of gender studies bullshit, or it's usually an art degree. And where the art degrees go? Comics, media, and that's kind of where you're kind of seeing the pipeline. Is it went from academia straight into media, with comics being the first, and now we're seeing it in video games and cinema and film.
And now you're hearing right there why I quit college. Because I was in a few semesters, I went, fuck this shit.
That's a symptom of people using comics as a stepping stone too.
I was literally the same thing. I was literally the same, because I got my associate's degree. I got accepted to a local college. I was going to go there, attended orientation. I think I've told the story before. But they're talking about oh, you need to take a diversity course. And it was all the social. And I said to the lady, oh, I think I'll hold that off till later. I didn't tell her to fuck off. I didn't whatever. I just said I'll hold. And literally, he literally rolled her eyes. He'd be like, okay.
Oh, he's just
the one that pushed me was literally supposed to be a course on studying historical literature, Old English poetry and stuff like that, and writing your own stories and versions off it and essay work. And this was supposed to be all based on opinion pieces and essays. And this stupid teacher was bringing in news articles from her groups that she supported constantly and trying to make us write things supporting them.
Another thing. So when I was doing my community college thing, we were doing it's like a basic intro to math class, because I suck at math. And one of the math packets we were doing in class literally had the fucking wage gap in it. It was. And I raised an issue with this, because hey, what's the problem? And I literally got made fun of in class. People are teasing me, and the teacher's like, okay, I need you to do a report on why the wage gap doesn't exist. So I just pulled from a bunch of sources. I did a bunch of research, and I literally gave it to her. and he's like, "Oh, this isn't what I'm looking for, but thank you for trying."
I did one on that too, and I got attacked by all the feminists in college.
Yeah, and the one thing that I also wanted to kind of bring up is you're kind of seeing this trickle down effect with all of this, where you're seeing it from you can't see me, but I'm basically kind of doing the steps here. But you're seeing it from academia on the top. It's moved down to media in the middle, and actually one of the college things I went to a fair while ago, but it was still not very long ago, was I went to a woodworking class, and that place was just as rife with all the ideology. And so you're actually going to go see it move into the trades next.
So are you saying there's
wait, it's already in the trades.
Yeah.
I gotta say this.
Yeah.
So you're saying there's an alt-left pipeline?
Oh, there's a pipeline to anything if you look hard enough, but there's definitely a very clear alt-left pipeline.
Well,
Go ahead real quick.
All right, just to touch on something Forrester was saying about the stepping stones. I noticed that in video games, where a lot of artists in video game development and a lot of developers were too cool for school. They actually hated the medium. They were activists. They weren't actually game developers, and it was absolutely astonishing.
And we're seeing this in video games. We're seeing this. We're seeing it right now.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
they have an absolute despise of. Well, they both loathe their customer. They dislike their product. Like a lot of game developers actually just want to be movie makers or like concept artists for like.
I mean, look at all these modern games. You know, like I think I mentioned this on Twitter earlier, but like I'm really tired of the character walks around cinematic, you know, like generic combat, like The Last of Us, Uncharted, God of War, Spider-Man, Tomb Raider.
Even if I could, I'd have no interest in most of these modern games. Even if I can handle them, I don't want to play them anymore. So,
yeah, they're just movies.
But I was going to touch on the comment about trade because actually it's been in the trades and the unions longer than it's been in media.
Mm-hmm.
And that's speaking as somebody who was a union carpenter for a while. So...
Yeah,
I actually went through that whole system 20 plus years ago. God, I think
it's more just the pronouncement because it's not just the unions now; it's also the individuals. That's kind of what I'm getting at. It's
been more in the trades than most people were aware of. It's getting more open, but it's been pretty embedded in the trades for quite a while, actually.
Yeah, it's an insidious virus.
Kyle, you did the right thing.
Yeah, but look at the honestly, like from the perspective of the brainwashed, like the way that it works is that it targets your empathy and then it targets your ego. Those are two very hard things to fight.
But don't you want black people to be free? Don't you
exactly
want men and women to be equal?
And then on top of that, you don't want to
feminism is the dictionary definition of feminism is equal between men and women. Don't you want men and women to be equal?
Actually, let's go to the true meaning of the word feminism because all words with the ism and ist in it are supposed to be phrased by combining Latin words. Guess what? If you break feminism up, it literally means female over male power.
Which is they certainly gone mask off in the past 10 years.
Yes, they have.
So, and if you look, this is the problem is the feminist leadership, the ones that started the feminist movement in the late 1800s, were always in the Femian movement. They were always in the progressive movement. The things they told the public were not. And they usurped the suffragettes. If you actually look at the literature of the time, the suffragettes hated them with a passion. They didn't want all this gender shit. They just wanted to be able to work a job and take care of their family without grief. That's all they wanted.
They also took over the temperance movement. Because you got to remember the temperance movement, which by the way is like banning alcohol. That itself was highly tied to alcohol because like the common narrative, like these wives are tired of their husband just coming home taking out money and going to the bar.
Dude, what about the white feather campaign? Like that was infuriating. Go die for this country, even though you can't vote.
And that was the thing. This was all done intentionally. It was all done to divide us. And the thing is, when I complain about this, I'm not even on political on this. This is a human movement. It's beyond politics. It's always been this group that wants control of everyone else's lives, trying to embed themselves in every part of life, from politics to entertainment to everything else, to control you. It's not just politics. It's not just comics. It's all interwoven, and it's been interwoven for a long time. They're just stepping it up every so many years.
Yeah, hey, I got a bit of a story. I was volunteering at a medical school in this program to bring high schoolers in to kind of like get them excited about medical careers and stuff. And it was mostly kids from the like Black community that were there. And the director of the program, who's about 34, and she had some kind of like theory degree. She sat him down to watch this video on microaggressions. Like that's how the whole thing started off. And then when she's asking him, like, what are their concerns in their community, one of the kids is like, he says, the police just ignore us. We don't have enough, like, cops in our neighborhoods. She talks right over him to go off on the spiel about what the police, do to them and all this. And the kids are, like, what they're saying, their concerns are, she just wouldn't even hear because she had this, like, head full of theory. It was supposed to be dialoguing with the kids.
And you see this in comics all the time. Like I'm trying to get this back to Spider-Man. Like, good conversation, guys. I just, But like, for example, the whole thing like with Peter Parker and Mary Jane. Tevya, if you're still here, we're doing this now. So I hope you're still here, Tevya. I'm sorry if we scared you away. I don't blame you. But like, fans have been asking for like a long ass time. About when are they going to get married? Like, I mean, obviously, One More Day, we all agree was like a stupid ass decision. Because if you look at the Spider-Man comic, yeah, exactly. And then Nick, it'll be your time to shine after I'm done saying my thing. Peter was aging. Like, they allowed Peter to have a life. Like, honestly, if they would have allowed it to happen, Mayday would have been born in 2005. Like, let's be honest here. If they would have like continued with allowing Peter to go, Peter would have had Mayday in 2005, 2006, and like we would have had a teenage Spider-Girl. Like, if like imagine Miles Morales and Mayday Parker being the same age, kind of stuff. Like that, we could have had that. We were this close to greatness. Sorry, I had to invoke that. And then they do like, and then what was the editor's name at the time? It's kind of escaping me here.
Joe Quesada.
Bendis. Quesada. No, you're right, Porter. Joe Quesada, amazing artist, just not that good of an editor. But like he wanted to break them apart because he wanted to do teenage stories, and they just refused to bring that back. And it's like, why? It's like we want like, and I've talked about this on Comics League before. It's like you have the solution for the Miles Peter problem, staring you straight in the fucking face. What you do is you have Peter be the older Spider-Man. He gets married, has Mayday Parker. Because let's be honest, most Peter Parker fans are older, and then you have Miles be the younger Peter Parker. That's your Peter Parker for like high school, college, hijinks.
Yeah, Batman Beyond.
Yeah,
and they both exist at the same time. Peter gets to do all the mature Spider-Man stuff. It's literally a perfect solution. It is literally a perfect solution because both get to exist at the same time, both get to do their same thing, and you're hitting two different markets at the same time. And for God's sakes, Miles Morales should be called a different name.
Yeah, I agree. Well, don't they call him Spin?
I thought they should call it Shadow Spider, which is a perfect name for him.
which was really rad. I would be down to read, Shadow Spider comics.
Yeah,
it's like,
well, I kind of like how and pardon me for interrupting, but it's kind of like how all of Batman's different Robins, once they came of age, they became their own superheroes and had their own stories and their own vibe, and they didn't tread over Batman. Batman still acted, and say Dick Grayson became Nightwing and did his own thing in Bloodhaven.
Yeah.
Can I say to a degree that when they rebirth similar names, and this even goes to one of the issues I even had in the old days with comics, most of the ones that they tried to make really standalone females were basically just, this popular male character, let's just make a basically female clone of him and say it's his niece, his cousin, his sister, his
Batwoman.
Yep.
She-Hulk, Supergirl.
Even
Barbara
go
Gordon
down the
was
list. Like in the early 70s, like Barbara Gordon was a backup feature and didn't interact with Batman and Robin. It was
what I've always wanted in every story is if they're going to make these characters and they're going to make them from the female, from these minorities, whatever, can we not make fucking copies or clones or have them take a mantle from somebody else? Can we just make a unique character?
Yeah,
Also,
And
I like
have
the
that
better way
play
to do
even
it.
from my childhood and before, too.
Like here's my example. Look at Huntress. Okay, she's obviously in the Batman mold. She's part of the Bat family, but she's her own unique character with her own
Her
thing.
own name, though. It's not like, Batgirl.
Yeah,
It's not like copying
female.
something
To
else.
be fair, there are versions of Huntress that are Helena Wade. Like her Earth, like she was originally the daughter of Batman and Catwoman until like in the 90s, they actually turned her into her own person and gave her mob origins. I think she's more interesting as Helena Bertinelli.
Well,
That's the version I'm
Like I said, I don't mind having the relatives take a mantle of their own and stuff. It's that it's the lazy Supergirl, She-Hulk, or
I agree.
Batgirl and stuff.
I
It's the
actually think Spider-Gwen
lazy.
I think Spider-Gwen is an example of doing it right because I actually really dig Spider-Gwen because her costume is really cool, the whole punk rock aesthetic. I actually think
Overall, I don't like the name.
Yeah, if
Oh,
it was like
yeah,
Silk
And
Gwen
to be
or-
fair, they have really abused Gwen being a superhero because you've now got like Spider-Gwen and Gwenpool and
I think her name
Super
is Ghost Spider
Gwen.
now, but still.
Well,
There's
here's
thousands
sorry.
of different Gwens because she's apparently like the poster girl for the female superhero, and now she's basically every superhero. It's
But
gotten
Basically, they did
Miles.
the same thing to Gwen that they did to Miles. Like,
Yeah.
we'll
It's a
have
token.
Miles be everything. I think the only reason they haven't made a Gwen version of Wolverine is because they basically had
Already did.
Yeah, they already did with X-29.
Hey,
Oh,
Yep.
hey, I was going to say something. I agree with the Eagle, but I have a caveat. I think they've got with the female characters this weird neither fish nor fowl thing where on the one hand, most of them are spun off from a male character, but yet they also have this sort of kind of feminist point to prove that they have to be a standalone side story. If you're going to spin them off from the male
I
character,
cringe
you
the
could
feminist.
explore you could
Yeah.
you could explore the dynamic between them and the male character.
X-23.
Like
Thank you.
Supergirl is almost always separate from
Yeah.
Superman. They don't actually use the cousin aspect, so she's not a standalone character totally. But they don't make her a part of Superman's setup either. It's neither fish
But-
nor fowl.
Yes.
But-
The problem I have is the making them very much carbon copy
Yeah.
and then just using same basic name.
See,
But you can have
They
the
exist,
relatives and
though.
have them rise and come up and have to take their own story. I have
See-
no problem with it. It's just make them more unique, make them more
See,
of their own, less of a
okay,
copy.
guys.
Agreed.
I
Like
think
Robin is not
X-23
that boy. He's
X-23
Robin.
was a perfect example
Yes.
of this being X-23 was a perfect example of this being done right.
Yeah, but she's Wolverine
obviously.
now.
Well, no, I'm getting to that. But for like 15 years, she was her own character. She was X-23. Obviously,
Yep.
she was basically the Connor Kent of the Marvel universe. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Let's
She
throw
was-
away what they've done now. Let's be honest, throw it away.
But the fact that they turn her into Wolverine, it's like you started out good, but then you made it bad by
Yep.
making her Wolverine. Like Draken, honestly, is a better Wolverine clone than Laura.
That's why I hated them making Falcon take the fucking Captain
Yeah,
America
that
mantle.
devalued him.
They took what was the quintessential front of making black superheroes in the old days,
Yep.
who was the main worst one to be truly his own mantle, who was this amazing character on his own, and they made him a mantle carrier for somebody else.
Yep.
They
Yeah.
downgraded him.
Another downgrade was when the movie made Black Canary black, which is weird because there was this like racist thing in the 70s
But-
and every black character had to be the
Yeah.
black
But
something.
but didn't you know?
And so now they accidentally made another one retroactively.
No. See, that's why they call it blackmail because it's black and he's a male.
Oh God! No,
Yeah,
what
but,
made me
can I-
cringe?
if you
What
got-
made me cringe was them trying to do the native Captain America because that was so many racial stereotypes in one, rolled into a supposed native guy dressed like he was at a thrift store buying knockoff. Somebody doesn't know native culture clothing, and then gave him a fucking Hispanic name, not a native name.
It's like so their research for this character was they watched the music video for YMCA.
The research for that video was actually that they hired a guy who was from a tribe not related to any of the tribes they were trying to represent, and then paid him to try to shove everything Native and Hispanic together into one character.
Yeah, and
Which is the
Okay.
same shit they do constantly. It's why the whole Echo series, why I'm so glad it died, they were literally advertising it as they were listing the people that worked on it by race and which tribe and reservation they got them from.
Oh,
No, anybody remember Star
Oh,
Trek
that's-
Voyager? Lieutenant
yeah, Chakotay.
Chakotay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chakotay actually Native, and he came into that being told he was going to be given respect to his character. Robert Bertram is Hispanic and Native. He's both. He is somebody who is both. He was being told he was going to be doing a character that was going to pay tribute and honor to the culture, and then they hired a known fake Native to write the character and wrote fake shit that pissed him off. And Bertram
Oh.
hated it.
Oh man.
That
and-
is actually fact on that,
Yep.
and that's somebody who's a Star Trek fan.
Wow, I
and-
didn't
and
know
the thing
that.
is, Captain Falcon was not even the first Captain America to, receive it, because at least canonically there have been at least 3 different Captain Americas within the
There's a
timeline.
Captain America clone. in
Steve
the
Rogers
50s.
having taken on the mantle twice.
I think like Bucky was it. I think Punisher tried like.
Bucky
tried to
was
get-
one at one point, yes.
So Steve Rogers was Captain America Red, Bucky was Captain America White, and then there was a Captain America Blue whose name I don't remember. And then they found not the corpse, but like the frozen quote unquote remains of Steve Rogers, and they unfroze him, and he regained the mantle of Captain America and held it until they decided, no, we'll just give it over to Sam because he's too white.
Didn't
Yeah, like,
Punisher
that was-
take it for a while too?
See, the thing you also got to realize, because they had Captain America comic in the 50s, but when they did the relaunch in the 60s, they basically retconned it. So like that Captain America from the 50s is actually a clone.
Whoa.
But that was a retcon. That they had to actually retcon that. So that's where that came from.
Yeah.
Man. Well, something I wanted to bring up about we were talking about like the female knockoff characters or whatever. Like, if the male character does not exist or never existed, then in my opinion that proves that the validity of the argument of you're making a knockoff character that's female. And my counter to that is this is why I liked the X-Men. There's no male Storm. There's no male Rogue.
Rogue and Storm were 2 of the best that were on their
Hell
own.
yeah.
Jubilee was a good one that was her own.
Yep.
And even when they do like have similar, like for example, Polaris,
Yep.
has magnetism. They still made her own character. Yeah,
Exactly.
And this is kind of the problem we have in modern stories. They try to make Polaris like a female Magneto, and it just never worked. Like that's
She
what
never
Runaways
was.
does.
She had similar
No.
powers, but she was very different. Same with Jean Grey, had similar powers to a lot of what Professor X did, but she was her
Yep.
own and had things that weren't his.
Yeah, Phoenix. Yeah.
Oh, I got one.
But
I got
one thing
Here's
I was going to
something
say real quick
sorry.
on that here is it shows a lack of creativity, first of all, but more so, I had one question I've been noticing a lot. What is it with these modern comic writers? Since about 2005, I've yet to see a fucking black superhero advertised that doesn't have some sort of electricity or lightning
I
power.
know!
Oh my god!
Yeah, yeah.
They're afraid of copying Static Shock.
They make them
all
all
they've
look
done.
like it's some sort of cheap knockoff of Storm, and it's like, what the fuck? Just come up with a different power.
To be
It's not like
fair,
they
Breaking
have to be
2 all
this.
over again.
Black Lightning came first. Let's be fair.
Yep.
Okay,
but yeah.
here's a peeve of mine. Female-only power systems. It's Witchblade, it's Wonder Woman, it's Star Sapphire, where this trope that, the superpower female, whatever it is that gives her power, must be a woman. Why? I can't think of a single male-only power
Witchblade is done
system.
right. Witchblade
Well,
is
I-
done right though. I'm
I
sorry.
do-
I got to rep Witchblade.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying that. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was saying, I do kind of get if you're pushing towards Amazonians or female warriors from different tribes and stuff, you want the one teaching them and handing off the mantle to be one of the female leaders of that group. I've actually been trying for a while to create something based on that, which is all these dreams and research I've done of the tribe for years, which is the female braves through the different years of the Sioux, because was our equivalent of the Amazonian. Here is they had female bands of braves in my tribe. And these were the women who couldn't have the honor of having kids, who were infertility issues or other things, taking back the honor they'd lost by becoming warriors and helping defend the men and protect them. And that does exist, and that is a part of history and culture too, but it has to be done in a way that isn't trying to make them, oh, we're so much better than men, and ridiculous cliches.
Yeah.
Also, I'm sorry, I got we're talking about like female superheroes. I gotta bring my own into this. I gotta bring her into this.
Yeah.
Shameless.
Oh,
I
man,
have no
with
yes,
the fucking plugs.
Yeah. Merchandising.
Pull the plug. Come on, pull the plug.
So
Merchandising. I
shout out
got
to-
your merchandising right here.
I mean, it's where the real money from the movie is made. But like, yeah, Screecher issue 2 is coming down the pipe.
Yeah.
Dropping this fall. I might have a colored page for you here next week or so.
Nice.
These are temporary logos. I'm hopefully gonna have ZVs kind of redo it, but yeah, like Screecher, it's obviously like a Batman inspired comic. I make no bone I make no bones about that. But like I really feel like I did enough kind of for her story to make her unique. And yeah, there's some like mantle kind of stuff in it. But, like I think I pull it off really well. And like yeah, she's fighting off against like her adversary as a woman and whatnot. But I don't know. I always like the idea of like taking like these cliche stories and like kind of doing them right.
Well, not
Yeah.
only that, but I mean, even Batman was derivative. So, you know.
Oh, fuck
works.
no. I'm not. Greg Berlanti will never touch this character.
Basically, it doesn't really. It's not the mantle thing is fine if it's an original character's mantle. Like,
Yeah.
you're not using she's not Batgirl. The mantle is passed on from another character you created for this, so it's more like, you know. I'm not,
Yeah, and look, the weird thing is,
trying to say.
because like the weird thing is, the mantle is backstory. Like,
Oh,
like
wow,
her
the
father.
cat. Sorry.
Because like her father did some stuff, and then like he kind of like takes that, and even there's some mantle passing of this character, which is I'm not gonna say anything more than that. Like that's kind of probably said too much, but like
But
it's
to
kinda
kind
like-
of clarify on the Batman being derivative, I'm not saying that he was unoriginal, but he was definitely pulled from the Shadow.
The Shadow knows.
And there were a lot of cliches with it. Same with Superman, honestly. They really just
Doc
drove the
Savage.
Golden Boy into the ground with a lot of those.
I mean,
And look,
honestly,
I grew up a
Doc Savage.
Superman.
Superman is Doc Savage. Let's be honest.
I grew up a Superman fan. I've bounced between DC and Marvel in my life. I'll admit that. I grew up very much a Superman fan, partly because of Christopher Reeves, I'll be honest. And I still maintain that him and George Reeves were actually the best. But even I can sit there and point out that what lacked with Superman is he was so far pushed to be the golden boy who never did anything wrong that he became very cliche and stereotypical in a lot of it, which is why I think when me and my brother were growing up and they did the whole Death of Superman and the Doomsday arc, we fucking loved it because you saw him raw when he came back.
Yeah, I think the problem is I think the problem with Superman is basically you get a bit of an overcorrection.
Yeah,
Let's make him super edgy. Let's make him super flawed, and it just goes way too far in the other direction.
And
also, I do have to say this: a lot of people are really too hung up on the Christopher Reeves interpretation, and yes, that is my favorite interpretation. But we need a more nuanced take. I'm not saying it can't be positive, it can't be good, but we got our Christopher Reeve and Superman Returns, and no one went to go see it.
Honestly, I'd find it interesting if they managed to keep on the, big blue Boy Scout persona, because that is kind of what Superman is.
Well,
But instead of having it be nuanced in the take of, do some bad stuff or do some good stuff, Superman's technically an alien. He is basically the equivalent of a mortal god on Earth. So
I will say this.
have it
the
explore
problem-
the concept of Superman, a being that is fundamentally inhuman, exploring his own sense of humanity.
I will say this. I think Superman and Lois really did a really good job of striking up the balance between like the positivity yet still making him human and flawed, but still like a good person. I think Superman and Lois nailed that.
Yeah.
I can say that it did some things right. I couldn't get into it. There was too much of the romance soap opera side to me for that show.
I don't believe
but and again, I'm not saying that everything ends with Christopher Reeve, but again, that was my childhood, so that's where I grew into Superman from.
Yeah.
But I am saying here is the modern ones have been too over gritty, and where they didn't understand that what hit so hard with the whole Doomsday era in the 90s is that while there was grit, it still was because he was the golden boy. It was still because he wanted to save people and do the right thing and stop the evil. So even when he went gritty there, it was because he still had his heart and his soul to help people. And that's where they lose it with these modern ones where they're taking him too dark.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Well, Neostar brought up something about Superman isn't perfect, but he aspires for humanity and goodness. That brings up. I remember. Do you guys remember Liana Kirshner or Liana K?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, she actually like had a really brilliant kind of dissection of what's happening a lot with our heroes, especially with Superman. So there's this dichotomy. There's a inspirational hero versus an aspirational hero. Superman is an aspirational hero. He is a paragon. He should be what we all aspire to be. That's what the archetype of that character is. Inspirational heroes are your Joe Everyman who can do, like out of either through luck or hard skill or whatever. The anti-hero even, they can do good, but it's to inspire us to do things. Whereas the aspirational hero is something that we all should be, as a standard, aspire to be. And I mean, I understand that, like, that there's the whole, oh God, the goody two shoes has been so overwrought that it's unbearable to watch occasionally, like you had mentioned, Nick, with Superman Returns. But like, if that is the fundamental of the character, is that like Superman is essentially God. If you look down to it, like as a game designer, we had arguments over how would you design a good Superman game, because he's impervious to everything. All of that shit about magic and all those other things, that came much later. Those were
don't you know? You just give the city a health bar. That's how you do a good Superman game. You just make the city a health bar. I'm smart.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm sick and tired.
I do love when you did that voice. My cat rolled her eyes with you.
What kind of cat is that?
Like, I'm just sorry, but like I'm just tired of every.
Wait, what was that comment?
I just want to know what kind of cat that was.
Mongrel. She's actually part Bengal, part Siamese, part Mao, and then part Tabby. So
her colors are beautiful.
I'm just gonna say,
she's a pretty
I'm just like really tired of like every conversation with Superman games. Someone always brings up CD Health Bar. You remember that one Superman Returns game that like no one plays, but everyone brings up for some really fucking stupid reason? But give the city a health bar.
Yeah, that's fun.
Personally, if I was gonna do a Superman game, I would actually focus a lot less on the action, and I would focus a lot more on kind of like a telltale experience, where you have to deal with the tough situations that Superman has, and his strength and invulnerability is not what comes to the focus. It's his moral character that comes to the focus, because that's usually what the Superman comics is about. Is not his. He's immortal. He can, do anything. It's the choices that he makes.
Yeah.
That sounds more like a Batman story, honestly. That's why, I don't know. Like,
honestly, I prefer the Arkham games
for
for Batman. I would prefer the Telltale stuff for Superman, because Batman is kind of the opposite side of the coin of Superman. He's very, very mortal. He is just a man. Granted, a billionaire of a man, but he is still just human.
And that's why he's a more popular character, because at the end of the day, Superman is really hard to write. And
absolutely.
And Batman, let's be honest, is really easy to write.
Yeah, he's an inspirational hero.
Superman is the balance. You have to make him somehow golden and yet relatable to people. And that's a lot harder to hit than having somebody be very human and very flawed.
Well, also, do you guys know the relevance of Dr. Watson? Like why that character was invented for Sherlock Holmes?
Yeah.
Superman needs a Dr. Watson. He needs.
Yeah, basically, Dr. Watson was an early version of a guy in a chair.
Yeah, exactly. It's the guy in the chair. It's who the audience can identify with. Because Sherlock Holmes was super autism weaponized. Like that guy was beyond human genius.
Weaponized autism.
Hey! My life could be called weaponized autism. Let's be honest here.
but like
I don't think
to the
Superman
audience
was
though,
right? But I think we put too much emphasis nowadays on character arcs and character growth and change, and people have forgotten how to write static characters. Because like you look at the 40s and 50s, they could crank out several Superman stories per issue. Like
Oh yeah.
10 of them in a
Well-
month, and they did perfectly fine. But
Well,
Superman
also,
himself
it's
was
audience
constant.
expectations.
Like you
It's a
can make
balance.
the plots, but he's not going to be learning things or changing or growing much. He's not really a character who needs to.
Well, I
The
mean,
other- the other problem
let's
you
kind of
have with
face it
is-
here.
How he affects
Character
other people
arcs
is
are
something you could
easier to
write about.
write than static
One at a time,
characters
guys, one
because
at a
you
time.
basically with a static character are like, okay, what side of this character am I going to show, or how is he going to deal with it without changing? Whereas with a character arc, it's very easy to see, X happens to this character, so Y change occurs within them.
I think
Also, I
to
would
a
kind of like it
degree,
if you did like Superman as
Um,
Kwai Chang Caine, where he has an effect on the people he meets.
And,
it is to a degree, because you can over character arc to the point where everything's backstory and nothing's the current day. But then again, if you write just static constantly and you don't actually have growth or development, it can get very dry, monotonous, and boring too.
Mhm.
And it has to be balanced. You can't spend so much time focusing over the past that there's no here and now. But
Yeah,
you do have to have some development of story at some point.
Yeah, the
You
other
know?
thing and the other thing you need to think about is audience expectations. Like, how often have we seen reviews where it's like, oh, there's no this character has no character arc. This movie is bad. Like, I've seen so many reviews, so many discourse.
Mhm.
Like, there is kind of a hatred with modern audiences and static characters, and I think that is as much of a factor as anything else. It's that modern
Definitely.
audiences reject static characters.
I think that's also because a lot of what they build is when they make static characters now, it's that they have no growth as a character throughout the movie. They're static through the movie, not just starting static, but they stay static. They don't grow, they don't develop, they don't become more as they go through the story. And
Well,
that's
the
where
character
it
arc.
loses the Well, the point is the character arcs can be you're focused so much on the past and how this person became that and stuff. It can be origin stories and stuff, or there's a certain amount of you want some growth. It's like the reason that some of these modern stories have sucked as bad as they did is because it was instant Mary Sue. It was she went from nobody and nothing to I'm super powered and wonderful with no growth and no character arc. That's also horrible.
Well,
That's
one
literally the
thing
problem
that
I
you
have with
kind of
Ray.
see that sorry, you go ahead and I'll do this.
Thank you. Yep, we're kind of talking over, so people be a little more mindful. But that's literally the problem I had with Ray. It took Luke 3 movies to learn Force Persuasion. Ray did it without even knowing what it was, and the whole let me concentrate a little more, tab in the Force. All of a sudden I can do lightsaber bad. Lightsaber prowess was never about your connection to the Force. Lightsaber prowess was skill with a lightsaber. And
It was learning sword fighting, and you saw in the original movies Luke studying it with him.
Yep.
And that's why, if you look at Kylo Ren, because he doesn't have access to the old masters, he uses a very basic it's all more broadsword techniques. Which
Yeah, but
I
the
think-
moment they showed that lightsaber, I laughed so hard as a fencer that I couldn't get through the rest of the movie.
I don't
because-
know.
Because lightsabers are energy. Anything that's
Yeah.
lit up is supposed to cut you. And the
Yeah.
point of the hilt in a broadsword like that is to catch your hand as you're moving.
Yeah.
It would literally
Yeah.
slice his hand to fucking pieces.
All you got to do is push that sword into his chest.
Sorry, I can't. I grew up sword fighting so much. In fact, the reason I talk out of the side of my mouth sometimes is because I actually have a scar here that was a hole through my lip when me and my sister were sword fighting with 10 pulls when I was 6.
So that's how you got those scars.
We were trying to recreate the cliff scene in Princess Bride. Okay, let's just leave it at that.
I am not left-handed.
Inconceivable.
Anyway, I wasn't a girly girl. Let's leave it at that. But anyway, so I've spent the better part of my life since I was about 5 years old studying sword fighting and fencing. When
So
movies
while-
do such a ridiculous job of it as they did with fucking Krylo,
So what
I
you're
can't
saying
watch it.
is while other girls were practicing makeup, you were at home practicing the blade.
But,
Which is why one of me and my husband's favorite shows to watch together is Forged in Fire. Anyway.
yeah,
Acknowledge the cuteness.
Wow. That is a
Aw,
huge rat.
very cute.
There's your rat. Yeah.
Yep, courage, saying hi.
Although, one thing that I would love to bring up in terms of the static character versus character arc that we haven't really touched on yet is a piece of writing that really lends to a static character extremely well that you don't really see anymore is the character analysis movie, where the character himself does not change throughout the entire movie, but you get a unique understanding and look into who the character is, how they think, and how they act. You basically break down the character and understand them. The character themselves does not change, but you get an insight into who that character is and kind of by extension, who, a piece of what humanity could be or
What are
is.
some examples of those?
Sherlock Holmes, actually.
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes
if you-
started with him being that good, but and he stayed very steady throughout the books and throughout the stories. But you still went on these adventures with him. You saw the growth of the people around him, and you learned about what he was.
Well, just to add to that, so a serial writer, okay, it is not beneficial for a serial writer to have change and growth in their characters. Look at Star Trek: The Next Generation, for example. Okay, imagine if Data started off as this naive Pinocchio who wanted to be human, in episode 2 got his humanity and no longer was a naive human wanting to be human, or Captain Picard stopped being gruff, or Riker stopped being the ladies' man.
It's the difference between, I think, you got to have them grow a little bit, as all people do throughout life if you're going to write for years, but you don't want to change the core of who they are and offend the fans either. So it's got to stay. This is why I say it's a balance. You can have really good character arcs, you have really good static, and you can have characters that are a bit of both, but write it fucking well, whichever you're doing.
On the Star Trek Next Generation front, one of the reasons why it was written so static was this was a time when you produce 26 episodes a year, and you're pretty much writing for syndication. I think it was actually
serials
first. Yeah, I think Next Generation was first run syndication. So you basically go into this knowing that episode 5 could be the first episode people see. So you kind of need some sort of level of static, and then you go to then you go on to stuff honestly even as far away as Enterprise, where Enterprise was kind of written in a different era, or as much as we hate it, but Star Trek Discovery was written for the streaming era, and it was written for, you do a season arc, and it's basically you're writing an 8-hour movie. And these things, Star Trek Next Generation, was kind of written in the same format as TOS, because it was kind of written, obviously it was 20, 30 years later, but the stuff hadn't changed too much. But even if you get to Enterprise, the TV landscapes had changed enough by Enterprise that you required a whole different writing style.
Another thing.
Sorry.
I was just going to say also with TOS and early TNG, the syndication people were also really bad about getting the episodes in order.
Yeah.
Yes, very bad, especially in the original series.
Oh yeah,
really
that's
bad.
Part of but that's intentionally designed that way. That's what a serial is versus a procedural. A procedural drama is something that plays out from episode 1 to an entire end of a season.
It was, and the show.
Whereas a serial is a contained story. And look at Cowboy Bebop, for example. Could you imagine if Spike or Jet Black or Edward changed their characters because they arrived at their growth before the season ended?
Well, yeah, that'd be really freaking weird.
Gonna say there's two sides of that to it. Yes, it was Star Trek was originally designed to be more of a serial show. They kind of really threw that away when they went into. They threw it away some with Next Gen, and they really threw it away with DS9. And that's actually where I kind of disliked on DS9, even though it's a great show overall. Is they threw away the easy to follow it just by watching an episode. That was part of this appeal of Star Trek, was supposed to be these flashing moments of either great triumph, great sorrow, or comedy that were supposed to enamor people and enlighten their sense of adventure and futuristic hope. That was the purpose of Star Trek. And so I think it lost some of that in DS9 and was a train wreck in that in Voyager, let's be honest.
Well, the thing with DS9 was it was great. Did Gene Roddenberry have any hand in DS9?
He helped come up with some of the concepts before he passed away, but it was made after he passed away. So it's kind of a little of both. Just like he did actually help write some of what became Earth Final Conflict and Andromeda, but they were made after he died and he wasn't a part of the actual production.
And I know, like, by the time Voyager came around, that was completely divorced from Rick Berman.
But I was going to finish my initial point here.
Go ahead.
But there's two different sides to that. Yes, it was designed to be serial and be able to be picked up easily from any point, basically. But that was a separate issue from the fact that the production had so many issues with the studio, with things happening, with Lucy having to fight to keep it on air, with things getting mixed up and confused and getting episodes switched and inverted and stuff. They still had issues releasing it in the order he was trying to release it.
Yeah, and that's 100% I worked on a show. Well, actually, I worked on a video game that worked with a show. And I can tell you right off the bat, any coordination as far as getting a perfect sequence of order for it's never going to happen. It's the nature of the beast. Like, it destroyed Firefly.
But it was much worse on Star Trek than most shows.
Okay. We're talking about Firefly. Firefly was basically a victim of, for one thing, it was put into the Friday night.
It was a victim of Fox. I mean,
yeah, it was.
Well, yeah, if you want to just sum it down to one sentence, yeah.
Fox.
But like, other than that, it was put in the Friday night Kiss of Death slot. It was aired out of order. It was often preempted. The first episode was Train Job, by the way. Serenity, the pilot, was its last aired episode, and there are episodes they didn't even air. Yeah, I'm a huge Firefly fan. Like, Firefly is. And
see, and that's why I like the episodes if you watched them as they were, but I couldn't follow it with everything they did, and I didn't have time to try to follow something, so I never got able to get into it as much.
Now,
that's a big reason why Firefly really didn't take off. Like, Firefly had its fans when it was airing, but it really took off once it hit DVD, because not only did they put it
now people could actually see what it should have been.
Yeah,
plus 4 episodes that were never aired. Because there were 4 episodes that never aired, and Firefly really took off when it hit DVD. Like, if it had never hit DVD, it would have never gotten the momentum for the movie.
By the way, that issue with continuity and trying to do things in correct continuity order instead of logical written order is the reason why it's so hard for them to make a proper movie series for the whole Narnia stuff. He wrote those every which way out of order. The 6th out of the 7th book he wrote was the one about the founding and creation of Narnia.
Yeah, the wizard's nephew.
The magician's nephew.
Yeah, I think the proper chronological order is Magician's Nephew, followed Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Horse and His Boy, and then it proceeds as normal. Because the Horse and His Boy takes place
not quite normal, actually.
Because the Horse and His Boy takes place during the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yes, it's actually during their reign as the kings and queens of Narnia.
I mean, that's chronological. It's a bad way to read it because that's not how the narration presents it. Magician's Nephew references the other books and assumes you know parts of the story.
And the other books reference it too. It's really weird because he kind of wrote everything all at once and referenced each other constantly through it. And I read them all in the logical order, the release he did when I was little. And I'm being quite little. My mom, back when I was going into college, decided she was going to do me a favor because I'm extremely hyperactive. I never sleep before travel, before holidays, anything. I can't sleep the night before. Yeah. And so Christmas Eve, we always got a gift from Mom, and it was always something that could entertain us for hours so we wouldn't leave our room. So I came back to visit from that first year of college, and what she gave me was this giant book that had the 7 of them in chronological order with some information filled in pages between and stuff like that. Me being a speed reader and hyperactive, I read it all that night.
Oh, that sounds like me when I got Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, a 734-page book. I read that in 24 hours. I'm sorry, that is my biggest reading flex. Is I read Harry Potter, Goblet of Fire in 24 hours.
Now, actually, one really cool thing that is a perfect example of both a serial and a character analysis is Twilight Zone. Because every episode follows a different character.
It's anthology. That's what it is.
It is anthology. That is true. But every episode follows a different character, and each character is fully analyzed by the end of the episode. You can pick up any episode out of order and basically understand what is going on, because the whole premise of the entire anthology TV show is weird shit happens in the Twilight Zone.
Down.
I mean,
That's true.
Yeah, I'm a huge Twilight Zone fan.
I have the entire series on Blu-ray, so yeah.
I just have season 2 on DVD, but still, you're awesome. But yeah, like Twilight Zone, like Rod Serling is like my writing idol.
Picture, if you will. I mean,
Imagine if you will.
this thing.
Beyond our creation. Like honestly, like one of my biggest things, I've been punting around this idea for so long. I want to do a podcast Twilight Zone. Basically, I was going to call it Diary of Madness, and it's basically going to be each episode is going to be like a one-off story. They play off like an audio drama, and they're all Twilight Zone-esque tales. And it's like I do like the sound effects, I do the voiceovers. It's a huge fucking undertaking, and
It is.
I probably do it at some point, but like, kind of think like Welcome to Night Vale, but like each like more anthology kind of thing.
I get that actually. One of the things I've wanted to do, I keep thinking about, is to get a group together and actually do like the on-air radio show dramas and whodunits and stuff with my friends, like the old days. But then I think with the friends I have, it would probably turn into the train wreck that it did when they tried it on Frasier.
Well, if you ever want to do that, I'd be happy to help. I do pretty good villain voices.
If either of you manage to actually get any of those projects started, please feel free to hit me up, because outside of everything else that I do, even if it's just a hobby, I do also do voice acting.
Ooh.
Not in any professional sense at this point, but I've been told
I would do it. I would do it, and I would write my own, and I would make sure that one of the characters that speaks a few times is this deep, shadowy voice you hear that you can't find the source of, and that would be me speaking. I'd do it in my fucking Dr. Claw voice.
I'll get you next time, Gadget.
No.
Gadget. It's just that I also have a very flexible voice in the fact that I can go relatively high up for my normal tone, and I can also go down deep enough,
isn't it?
To hit James Earl Jones level.
I cannot do the high voices and the sweet, innocent, girly voices, but I can do deep, creepy male voices from different things. I can do the Butcher. I can do Dr. Claw. I can sometimes do Vader if my throat's not sick. I can do those voices. I can't do fucking girly voices.
Are you familiar with Killer Croc from Arkham Asylum?
Yes.
Your sense, Batman. I'm gonna hunt you down, eat your bones.
Well, are you guys familiar with Aku at all?
All right, one at a time.
Are you familiar with Aku at all?
Oh yeah, that's
extra thick.
Mako. That's Mako from.
Foolish samurai warrior, I, Aku, the great shogun of evil.
All right,
So long, gay boys.
God damn.
Can you do Iroh?
Without
Can you do
destroying my
Iroh?
vocal cords.
Do Iroh.
There are too many things that you are trying to do. You need to focus on one of them at a time. This is great wisdom from your Uncle Iroh.
Well, I'm fucked.
Oh,
I mean-
Zuko. It is the white jade bush. It could either be the most delectable. I'm doing it.
This
okay.
You
The
people
white
are
table.
offending me being the only Asian here.
Or a terrible poison that will cut off my breathing.
Would you try not to get your claws stuck in my shirt and eating me?
Oh dear God.
She's like, no, I
But,
want
yeah,
attention.
I love.
Did somebody say cat?
Pussy, watch me stroke it. I mean, she's like, leave me out of this. I don't know what's going on, but you guys are weird.
I need the that's what she said drop. I need that.
But yeah,
I
just have
love
one of
that
those
she climbs
really
up this
flexible
much.
voices, and so it's like I've always wanted to do voice acting, even just for fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I love that she climbs up this much because I'll get in the middle of panels where there are some channels when you get on the panels and they've got a whole bunch of guys going, they don't let the girls get a word in edgewise. So you'll end up sitting there and eventually I'll just have her walk over to me. And every so often I'll either do like the Dr. Claw voice or I'll go, oh, watch me stroke my pussy on air and see if it freaks him out.
Yeah, like I don't understand. Like I know why they do it because like they want like the face of the pretty woman to get all the thirsty nerds in. I get it. But like I don't know. I try to have everyone talk. Which speaking of which, Nix, you haven't said much lately. You want to do your Spider-Man bit?
Yeah. Okay. So Dan Slott, fucking. Oh my God! This is part of the reason I gave up comics was because of how much they like to fuck Spider-Man over. My boy deserves his happy ending at this point with Mary Jane. Come on, Marvel.
Killed Mary Jane at this point, Nix.
Not killed. She got so he ended up having to like leave her or something in an alternate dimension. Then when he goes back to get her and save her ass, he finds out that she's in a relationship of sorts with some douche fucking nozzle named Paul. And there's these two random kids that they're taking care of. That's not even their kids. Just two random kids that they
There
family.
was also the comic where he accidentally killed her with his radioactive jizz. So
that was the time. That was a hell of a time.
Can we just like gather up every copy of the comic book and just put them in a pile and lit them on fire, please?
Yeah, that'd be great.
That and
Star
all
Wars
copies
Holiday
of
Special.
Sin Past. That and all copies of Sin Past.
Amen to that. Like, I kind of, on the one hand, I get wanting one of your legacy characters to be timeless, to be ageless, but at the same time, Peter was supposed to be relatable to the reader. The reader grows up. The reader gets a job. The reader starts a family. And then new kids get it.
Old and retires.
Exactly. And one of my favorite comic books that was Spider-Man-ish was Spider-Girl. And I brought it up one point briefly in another stream, but my school, my very Catholic elementary school in a backwater town, backwater-ish, had a couple of the issues, most of the issues of Spider-Girl, along with a French version of Yu-Gi-Oh! And One Piece. English One Piece.
So c'est bon.
But I grew to really love.
You can tell that Nix is Canadian. Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding, eh?
But don't make me stick my polar bear on you. But I grew to.
Nix, is every Canadian issued a polar bear at birth?
No, but we all get free tickets to Timmy's.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
It's like, and if you don't attend hockey mass, you're not a Canadian.
Yeah.
Can I please say I still have never understood the so-called, thing about polite Canadians. I've got so many friends up there. I've known so many people up there. You get Canadian tourists constantly in the Black Hills, and I've never met a polite one fucking yet.
Oh no, my younger brother. We went to the Mandarin one day. We usually go for like big celebrations before COVID hit, but he came back to our table after getting his food. He's like, I feel like the most stereotypical Canadian right now, and I'm like, why? He's like, I just said so many excuse me and
sorries
in like one fucking go. It's like I feel like a stereotype, and my older brother's like, "Oh, do you want me to pour maple syrup on that for you?"
It's like, oh,
hey, Hoser.
Wait.
I mean,
wait. The question: did you have a cup of Tim Hortons coffee in your hand?
Of course, yeah.
No, I can't drink coffee. I hate it.
I'm with you there. Actually, I swig more tea than all my British friends combined. But anyway, I don't say this maliciously. I say this as a joke, partly, but seriously, I've never met the polite Canadians. I have tons of Canadian friends. The tourists we get from Canada, I swear, are the worst people in your entire country. In the Black Hills, the worst tourists we got were Canadian and Texan. I'm not kidding.
I have no idea where that stereotype comes from either. Like, it's just I've never met a polite Canadian outside of like people I know.
Have you ever been to
Newfoundland? Canadian. She's in Canada right now.
I know. Look, I hang out at Trek Yards. I've been talking to Foley for the last several years, and he told me part of his goal in life is to prove that Canadians cuss more than Americans.
Oh yeah, I've been swearing basically since I was 3.
I think they could all learn a lesson from Mr. Radish in Degrassi. I mean, honestly.
See, my theory is Canada, like obviously Canada has really swallowed the leftist dick more than anyone else. And I it's like one of the things is like a lot of leftists, they're like fake nice. They pretend to be progressive when really they're more racist than anyone else.
Oh God!
And
Yeah.
I think that's kind of Canada in a nutshell. Like they don't want to be in America's shadow, yet they keep finding themselves. Also, any good Canadian just moves down to America anyway because.
Can I point something out? And I'm not saying this maliciously, but I swear the next fucking Canadian I hear bitch about what America did to natives, considering that Canada actually had it going on longer than America did.
They're still doing it.
Well, we are actually too. There are actually still racist laws, and there are still people being split from families and stuff.
When did the last reform school in Canada close? Wasn't it the 80s or the 90s?
It was after that, actually.
So it was
There's
2000
also
when
a
the last.
reason why unsupervised Canadians in Geneva suggestions is still a meme in military circles to this day.
Let me put
Y'all
it to
can be
you
some
this.
scary motherfuckers.
Let me put it to you this way. I know Canada closed them after the U.S. officially did. I know the private school I was in as a child was one that was aimed at Native children. Does that give you a clue?
So basically, in America, they just put it under a different name. But in Canada, they still had the same institution going as late as 2000s.
Ooh.
Neil Starr, yes. Fuck that bastard. Yes, I like that line.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
Nina Infinity is a sweetheart, Keeley. She is awesome. I love that
If
girl.
you look at the two of them, they look way too similar to not be
Guys,
related somehow.
I looked it up. The last of Canadians, 139 residential schools, residential children. Are you ready for this date? 1998.
Oh God.
That is when, because here in America, we think of the residential schools. We think of those for the 1800s.
They were actually they didn't use residential school as a name, but they were doing the schools for Native kids and the forced adopting out and stuff like that well into the early 90s here. And I was in that school in the 90s.
I don't doubt you, but I'm just saying the concept of the really abusive stuff. We think of that from the 1800s. I'm not saying it didn't continue, but what my point is, Canada was literally doing the same thing, not even bothering to change the name or the Americans did up until almost 2000.
That's the thing. People, for all the complaints you hear constantly bitching about reparations and black suffrage and stuff, the black community has not been living the racist laws against them since the last ones were revoked in the early 70s.
Could I just cut in very quickly here? I've got someone
Go
I'd
ahead.
like everyone to meet. Come here, you. Come here. Yeah. Come here.
Oh.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
I don't know if it's showing properly.
No,
your
Now we
camera's
just see a black square.
My camera's stupid today.
No.
I don't care who you are. I don't care how manly you think you are when you see an adorable child.
Yeah.
I think she's trying to fix the system, but
Yeah.
they talk about this constantly. Well, those systems, most of them were revoked in law in the 60s. The last few laws were revoked in the early 70s. It's mostly self-inflicted to a degree in the communities now because they're still living the system they got stuck in. Whereas when you're dealing with a lot of this stuff with the Native population, when my sister had my nephew, they were still writing things in the medical forms for IHS for Native women so that you could not say that you don't drink while pregnant by the way the form was built. It literally, you had to fill in these boxes. Hi, sweetie. Hi. Aw. You had to fill in these boxes.
Those are two very adorable people.
They are.
Yeah.
So yeah, what I'm saying on this is you had to fill in these
All right,
boxes.
you take your money and go.
And if you didn't fill out the stuff, you weren't treated. You had to fill out everything. You couldn't leave answers blank. They wrote it so you're not allowed to write outside of it. You have to take one of the check boxes. And then they asked for alcohol use and drug use, and they gave you no option for none. That was in Native women for pregnancy questionnaires.
So
what they were doing.
Wait.
Mm-hmm.
Let me clarify. So there's no way for you to check that you haven't been drinking during pregnancy?
Yes. And then they would use those forms to relocate kids and adopt them out if they didn't want the mother to have it. That's still been happening. Last case I've seen where it happened to somebody falsely was in 2013. That's the last case I know of.
Wow.
So this is still an issue, actually. There was actually somebody who tried to run for government in South Dakota about 6 years ago who literally wanted to reopen the board schools and forcing adoptions on natives openly. This is actually still an issue. And so when I hear people bitch about the issues in the inner cities with the Black community, I kind of get pissy with them, actually. Because there are legitimate issues where Native women are having the kids taken away and are being set up by the government with the open border and the system they've set up for feds and tribal police not being able to do much to criminals that led to this kidnapping epidemic and this trafficking epidemic against Native women.
And
it's abetted by the government.
Eagle, I want to try to jump off of that. And this is the problem we have with modern society is every race, every gender, every group, we all have our issues, okay? And they're all like, I as a white dude, I got my problems, you know, it's like Black people got the problems, you got the problems, women have their problems. We all got our problems, you know.
Oh, hey, I'm perfect.
Well,
yeah, right.
to be fair, you're right there. I'm not okay. You got me there. But like everyone but Nick's, we got our problems, and it's like, and we're all. It's you know, it's like I'm trying not to like. I realize like I gotta choose my words carefully if I'm about to say. It's like the people in the inner city. It's like they talk about their problems. Their stuff gets talked about more. Meanwhile, Native Americans, they bring up the problems. They're ignored. That's the biggest problem is roads. Some seriously evil shit is happening in your community. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Some seriously cartoonily evil shit. Some fucked up shit is happening in your community, and it should not happen.
And how many people have ever heard of it? And then you've got people like Lakota Man who know this is happening to our people. They leave the reservations, they move to another state, they get all this money, and then they run around claiming that they're the ultimate victims and pushing all of the fucking shit that's doing this to our people and trying to silence the rest of the group while pushing division and racism and more bigotry.
Well,
it's disgusting because they are the ultimate sellouts. They are the true racial traitors. And they want us divided. They want us not to care about our white brethren. They want us not to care about Black brethren. They want us to not be a part of society.
We're all humans here, and all humans have the problem that we should care about other humans.
Agreed. But like there are parasites and there are government entities that are it's in their best interest for this turmoil to continue.
The grifters.
Yeah, well, like the ADL, for example. As a Jewish person, yeah, the SPLC, same thing. But like honestly, if there was no Southern poverty, there'd be no SPLC. So therefore, it's in their best interest to keep poverty in the South. But with the ADL, what bothers me is that the ADL is essentially like you're in prison and the prison guard pulls you aside in front of all the other inmates and gives you special treatment. It's like putting a target on your back. No, it's racism. It's not anti-Semitism. It's racism.
Yeah.
Like, don't give me a special term that nobody else can use. Like, that's our word. No. The minute you do that, you other me. And I hate when I see, people amongst my people causing trouble and then hiding behind, oh, it's anti-Semitic. No, they hate you. They don't, you're giving them the reason to hate the Jews. I'm sorry.
I mean, honestly, there's a whole conversation to be had about like anti-Semitism and like the weaponization of like the Holocaust when it comes to like politics that I'm not even sure I'm comfortable having. But
versus legitimate cases of that kind of bigotry, like what I watched happen to TDS and his wife, where they were making, let's just say, German propaganda and sticking their avatars on it, making fun of them being Jewish.
Oh god.
Yeah, that is literally anti-Semitic.
And I actually
That is
witnessed that
evil.
happen to them. And
Or
yeah,
other videos of the rabbis and the kids that were in the Hebrew school or whatever. They were getting off their buses, and there was a bunch of people of let's just say future doctors throwing rocks and snowballs at them and stuff because they were breaching that stupid quarantine thing that didn't make any sense because these were all insular communities anyways. Like they're in the same building whether they're in a school or at home, like and they were, oh, it's stop anti-Semitism. Well, let's look at the people doing it. Oh, we don't want to talk about that because that brings up other grievance mongering.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talk about the issues that are happening in Native community. I also talk about what's happening to men. And the fact that they don't have an equal voice when it comes to being survivors or abuse victims or family courts. I talk about what happens to women in specific situations because there are places where we don't have as much voice. I talk about what happens to people for being white or Christian because they are persecuted in this society, whether people want to admit it or not. I talk about the fact that we do have a vicious anti-mix, anti-pale skin bigotry in minority communities to our own. Because we can't let people claim it's an us or them mentality. Bigotry and hate exist in some degree in every group. And until we call out the bad in all sides while embracing the good in all sides, we're not going to become better people. Everybody is human. No matter what your skin, your gender, or anything else, you're human. And therefore, there's no reason to try to other anybody or give one group preferential treatment over another.
If you poison me, do I not die?
Yeah.
Exactly. And this is where
drink. Sorry.
I have gotten into it in fights with people in my community for they're making anti-white comments. It's like, really? And they go, well, what do white people know of our struggling? It's like, well, considering the fact that everyone knows my dad was Native, my mom's a Celtic woman. I've talked about that. My mom lived on 2 reservations as a teenager. My mom lived on Standing Rock Reservation during Russell Means and the AIM riots in the 70s as one of the only white people on the res.
Is that the thing where it's like you had the Oscars and the woman came on except for Marlon Brando's Oscar or whatever? Is that the same thing?
That was part of the same era, but this went further. This was basically their version of Black Panther's BLM kind of stuff. And it started on Standing Rock Reservation while my mom was there. My mom was beaten and tortured into the hospital for being white as a teenager.
Oh, damn.
Wow.
And
so when these people bitch about race and stuff and say, well, you don't understand it if you're not this or that, it's like, I don't care who you are. I don't care what your skin. I don't care what your background. I don't care if you're rich, poor, anything else. If somebody's hurt you just for being what you were born as, then you've known bigotry.
See, this is a problem I have where it's like, this is kind of a topic for another stream. I'll like read touch on this. I actually think, like, as a society, we were on a really good track up until about like 2005, maybe late 2000s. Because if you look at like how things were progressing, like things were progressing really good. Like in the 2000s, you were really starting to see like gay people were starting to kind of get more acknowledged because like there started to be more stuff like if you look at like how we treat racism in like the late 90s and 2000s versus today. It's like we like in late.
We've gone so backwards last 2 decades.
Yep.
Exactly.
Oh, definitely.
And like it's like the whole rhetoric.
No, not you.
Because I came up in the school system in the 90s. Because like I was born in '87, so it's like most of my schooling was like 90s. I graduated in 06, so it's like that's when I came up. And like like we had Black History Month. We learned about like Black people in history. We were taught like don't like the thing that was always drilled on us is being colorblind. And I think that's kind of the big thing. Like the children of the 90s and I'd say 2000s were taught to be colorblind. And we went to the world and we were colorblind. We don't see color. We see people. And now the children are being taught they want you to see color, but they also want you to see the power and the privilege. And that kind of comes with like the definition of racism. Racism that came out in like early to mid 2010s is they redefine racism as power and privilege, not as a color thing. That's why like you can have a black that's why you can have a rich Black person that has internalized white supremacy or something.
That, by the way, that trying to redefine racism as being the power and prestige and not the bigotry in the heart. The first person to coin that in the college system was Dr. Mark Lamont Hill, a black college
that
professor.
asshole. Yeah.
And he openly said on air when he was being interviewed on Red Eye on Fox in 2005 or so, or 6, somewhere around there, that he is racist and he doesn't care because black people can't truly be racist.
Yep. Well, isn't that
And that's the other
convenient?
thing-
Which is dumb.
Which
one thing
is
we
just
don't really
bigotry
talk
of
about-
low expectations.
Oh yeah,
So-
that's a whole nother topic. But like there are some like really racist black people. Like do you remember that Nick Cannon interview that he was talking about? We don't talk about it.
Black supremacy exists, red supremacy exists, white supremacy exists.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry if you're saying power to any group for their racial group, you are bigoted, be it black, red, or white.
Fuck the KKK. Fuck the Black Israelites. Fuck all those. People.
Yes.
Fuck
Oh my
the followers,
god.
fuck AIM, fuck all of that shit.
There was literally on Twitter, I saw a bunch of people I'm friends with replying to it. This dumb woman, and I can't swear. My youngest niece is in the room with me watching Blue.
Absolutely understand.
But yeah, she's quiet usually. But anyways, they were going on about how interracial marriage is a sin, yada yada yada.
Oh god.
Oh, yeah, those groups are becoming more of a thing now. I've had people tell me I'm in the front
And
of
you know
life.
what the irony-
I'm
you know
a
what the ir-
mongrel. Yep. I've had
But
it.
you know what that is? You know what the irony of it is? That's just bringing back the racism of the 1950s. That's
Yeah.
just bringing
Exactly.
up they're literally bringing up Nazi talking points. We must keep this race.
Stick to your own kind, one of your own.
Well, there's also an
Angry-
extreme to that in our media now. Like I remember somebody asked.
Guys, we literally need our own colleges so that the white people can't interfere with our studies.
Yeah.
And let's bring this back to the topic
Wait,
here.
isn't there black
This is
colleges?
part of
Isn't
what's
there actually-
happened. This is part of
Yeah,
what's
isn't there
happened to
black
the
colleges,
comic
though?
industry and to the culture. This
Yeah,
is
it's starting
why
to happen.
I ended up in CG was because they were going after me for saying don't be racist to white people, for talking about being native as an albino girl. They went after me for it because God forbid I didn't toe the line. I have had more racist slurs for natives and white people thrown at me from these so-called tolerant SJWs in the comics industry. I know because there's people in the companies who've actually messaged me and told me that there is a blackball against people in Marvel and DC to talk to me. They will get in trouble.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's kind of a flex.
Me
I'm not gonna lie.
specifically, not CG. Me.
Eagle, I'm not gonna lie. That's kind of a flex.
It does make me wonder who told them that this person needs that, but
Dan Slott.
it's more
It all
likely.
comes back to that
It's more
fucker.
likely Whale Simone. I
Oh,
mean, Gail
dear.
Simone. I mean, shit.
Damn.
Okay, no. After she harassed me and her friends harassed me for a while, the reason she blocked me is because I had about 400 of my followers and me trolling her for months with Whale Simone
Oh,
and
I
images
know.
of her as a
Yeah.
whale.
You want to know how ingrained?
So that's where that came from.
You want to know how ingrained this is into our youth? So here's another crazy college story.
Oh God.
Oh no.
Oh, trust me, this shit's wild. So I was doing a 3D animation class. This is community college. The teacher was an SJW. We didn't really get along. She wasn't too bad, but so we had this thing where it's like one day it's like all of us got to sit down. We talked about our things, and she was fairly even about it. I did my stuff, fine, whatever. And then another person was doing his thing. And this person who I was friends with, but like I think a day or two before this, he stopped being friends with me, stupid reasons. But he did an outburst like, "Oh no, white people are evil. White people are bad." Mind you, he was white.
Oh god.
Oh god.
And
course, it's
also
always
like, by the way,
The
he was
Uncle
like,
Ruckus of white people.
Oh, and it's like he was like the stereotypical white liberal because like he came from like a rich family. Like I saw his house; it was fucking nice. Like nowadays it'd probably be worth at least $1 million. So anyway, he said this, like white people are evil. And the person stood up and said, "Hey, we'd really appreciate it if you don't outburst. Everyone's really silent, blah, blah, blah." And then this former friend of mine looked at him and said, "Shut up, you honky."
Oh god.
So let me break it down. No, let me break it down. You know, he said white people are bad. This other person politely asked him to not do that, okay? And by the way, all three people in this situation are white males. So you had a white person telling another white person a white slur. So it's like, only in college.
Well, so there's this term in China, again, communist China. It's called baizhua, and it literally means white leftist. And
Yeah, Baizhou.
It's spelled zuo, but it's wa. But baizhua is it's white leftist, but it's a term that is also synonymous with useful idiot. So basically, you have communists laughing at Westerners, going, "Look, here's your little communist poisoners." Like.
But his story about the whitest person calling white people that stuff. I have a story, which is how I lost my first Twitter name.
Oh no!
This goes back to being a Trekkie. Fucking Gates McFadden.
Oh.
Who is a mix of Celtic and an ultra white group from the Eurasian area.
So she's white.
She's white. She's like fucking paper white. In her origins.
She's so white, she makes Donny Osmond look like Sam Jackson by comparison.
Yeah. Posts the thing saying that if you're white, you're racist. And it started with me going, but
Irony.
You're white. And that started the fight.
And that's how the fight started.
Snowballed. And yeah, we actually did take shots at each other a bit. Fine.
Because
I found that she had I had two other things I found that she had in her post. One was saying that nobody needs weapons for self-defense while she lives in a gated armed security community. And she's telling this to a group of natives and blacks who live in crime-ridden areas and need protection. And I called that out. The other was her saying that she uses her money in certain states to try to sway their elections. She actually admitted it. And I called this out, especially since the states that she listed, 2 of the 3 states she listed are in the top 5 for most native population. And she was saying openly that she uses her money, making it famous as a European white woman, to try to silence the local voices in native communities.
So anyone want to just kind of sum up like what's going on with Kyle?
Oh, okay, 1 second. Let me finish this real fast, and then I'll try to see if I can explain. So I called these things out. She and her fans went ballistic at me, fine. And my fans and friends decided they didn't like her being racist to me. So they mass spammed her with "Shut Up Beverly" memes and GIFs. At which point, her and her fans mass flagged me, and I lost the account for her being racist to me, which was interesting. And about 3 days after that, she changed her bio to now list herself as a so-called hashtag biracial person of color, and she still has that in her fucking bio. So I got under her skin so bad, she's trying to Rachel Dolezal herself.
She went full. What's that one politician name? The Pocahontas one.
Elizabeth Warren.
Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren.
Or I compared it to Rachel Dolezal because she's the whitest white woman ever who thinks that she's black. But yeah, she literally did that to herself to try to stop people arguing what I argued against her. And apparently she's figured out who the new account is because she's already got me blocked and I haven't spoken to her on it.
Wow.
She's afraid of the Eagle Rider.
My brother is very anti-CG. He's kind of in the tank on most of the liberal stuff. He fucking hates her guts for what she did with me.
So
we have wars between me and him about this stuff.
I guess we know where Wesley Crusher got his ideas from.
Yeah.
Actually, Wheaton, as bad as he is on some things, he's less insufferable than most of that cast actually anymore.
What the fuck? Like
that?
He was the most insufferable of them all. He
was an absolute piece of trash in the 90s, and he says it himself. And in the early 2000s, he was still very whiny. But I give him a few credits. A, he is a stand-up guy when it comes to being a father and as a husband. But about time he started doing with the tabletop series, he actually started bringing geeks of different walks of life together, getting them to try to get along in his house.
See, that was kind of the resurgence of his career. But like honestly, everything I saw was like that's when he was really.
His opinions are ridiculous, but he's not a flaming asshole who wants to shut people down for disagreeing like they are.
Like LeVar Burton.
Yeah.
See, I can handle somebody being stupid and having bad opinions as long as they're not trying to silence other people's speech and opinions.
Yeah, I have no problem with people having opinions I disagree
Also,
with.
can we give a shout out to Jonathan Franks for just like shutting up and doing his job?
Yes.
Hey,
No, because he made
Thanatos?
because Franks made a fucking comment during the whole issue of writing for the new track, saying that if you didn't like the episodes he wrote, you were racist.
You have poopy opinions, and you need to keep your mouth shut.
That's sad because
The only one I can't find any stupid comments from that cast is Michael Dorn.
Oh damn!
Terry Farrell is. In fact, she is.
Can I just say one of the two black guys in the cast is the only people who's not a circle asshole. I kind of love it.
Terry Farrell is. In fact, she's actually married to one of Nimoy's sons now.
Terry
but
Farrell,
she's
who's that?
Jadzia Dax.
Jadzia Dax.
Oh, the transgender
She's
one.
actually from Cedar Rapids here in Iowa, and she's gone full homestead or homeschooler mom.
Also, Avery Brooks is base as hell.
Dude,
he wasn't in the 90s. In the 90s, he was a whiny race baiter, and he flipped, and he's calling out the other guys for doing it now.
Dude, that guy is awesome.
When did he do that one speech where like he was talking about like I don't see myself as like the first black captain?
Yeah, that
was in the 2000 era, and yeah, he grew up. He was whiny when the show started, but by the time a couple of years after the show ended, he was actually becoming a more more rational, more kind person, while the rest of the cast members were getting more crazy.
Yeah, and it's to the point now where I think Neostar brought it up a little while back, but at this point, we just kind of need our own set of not just academic institutions, but just our own set of everything at this point, because the political rot is just so endemic. It's everywhere in the media.
Well,
It's
that's
everywhere
where
in the
like
academia.
CG Iron Age steps in.
Yeah.
We're kind of developing a parallel economy here, and
Yeah,
that's, like,
and so it's basically to the point where, like Neostar said, it's just a whole lot more cheaper, efficient, and a whole lot less headache to go indie and then support other fellow indies.
Yeah, and we're starting to see like the parallel economy for indie filmmaking. Because look at what happened with like the Daily Wire. Like the Daily Wire, like they're like not like they made that movie Gina Carano and it's actually like decently successful. I think we're going to start to see more of it because like
absolutely.
you have that parallel. Because the thing is, Christians have their own parallel economy. Like this is not really talking about like they're the whole parallel economy for Christian stuff, and like that's I think it's probably still going. But like,
you've got like the Dove TV, which is the Christian networks, and all these others, and Christian music and bookstores and stuff. And I have nothing against any group having that. I have nothing against any religion or any anti-religion having that. The problem I have is I have yet to find somebody who says they're atheist who can argue it scientifically without going into comments like sky god or delusional or cult or shit.
Well, you can't prove a negative.
See, the thing is, atheism was kind of fine up until like the whole atheism plus movement, which because like atheism was just I don't believe in God, I don't have any proof for it, I just want to do my own thing.
Yeah, that's what it started as. It was what's now agnostic. It was originally what is now agnostic, and when they split from each other, atheism went to not I don't know, I can't believe because I don't see it, to God is dead, almost Nietzsche. And that's what they are now.
Atheism morphed from a lack of a religion to a religion in and of itself. It's not only that, but a religion that is defined by its opposition to another, which you never see that in any other religion. No religion is defined by its opposition to another. You can have religions that are responses to another, religions that are related to each other. Like yes, Islam, Judaism, and Christianity are all related, like the three Abrahamic religions.
Very loosely, there's a lot of major issues with when I will just say there's a lot of major issues with when people try to lump them all together, because while they may have started from the same basic area and stuff, they're so different. Christian and Jewish are a lot easier to tie together than what Muslim became, because they took completely separate route on it. And that's not against anybody on either side. That's just they really culturally don't agree on
you
almost
also have to-
anything.
You also have to remember that Islam is not exactly a very new religion. Actually, out of the triumvirate, Christianity is by far the youngest.
Yeah.
If you want to compare compare anything in terms of their age, Judaism and Islam are a lot more closer related because the split between those two particular religions happened around Abraham with Jacob and Esau.
I'm going to take an exemption on that actually, because there was a split and that was the base of it. But what became actually Muslim came in the early Dark Ages.
Also,
that was a change of that religion again. So
I just want to point
borderline.
out what Kyle is saying. Yes, Satanism also is
a joke.
But
most of the people who say it are, but there are some who take it seriously and actually believe in doing the dark shit.
But like, here's the thing: is like here's my as an outsider, because I'm not Christian. Like, I know enough about Christianity to know that in Satan is the guy that lost. Lucifer was kicked out of. This goes to Judaism as well. Like, he was basically the arrogance was his downfall. He lost, and the whole point is you're now wanting to follow the bad guy who's the loser of the story. See, why would you follow the loser?
Here's what really happened.
Following the leader.
What happens when we're Christians? The smart ones who don't want to be a Christianity but still want to be religious, they become Wicca. I've met almost every Wicca I've met have been cool people. Like the people who don't want to be part of the Christianity but still want to be religious, they go Wicca.
And yet I've
Buddhist.
I've seen a lot of the darker side of Wicca and a lot of people who start Wiccan and go Christian too in my life. And so I think it's a circle, because I think most people in most religions genuinely want to just find the creation. They want to find the creator. They want to find the spirit within earth, and they want to find a way to be kind to one another. And the groups leading every group are horrible, but the belief structure isn't. And that's why I don't believe in the denominations. That's why, even though I call myself a Christian girl, I am very much a tribal naturalist. I'm very much into the Great Spirit and all that. And
I'm the same way as you, Eagle. Like, I myself call myself a Christian, but like I don't really go to church very often because most churches nowadays are basically social clubs. Like, this is how I put it. I believe
they
in
were
God.
originally
They're hypocrites too.
There was a whole lot more emphasis on the religious aspect originally.
Well, this is what people they get to. Well, you need to go to the church. You need to do this. Like, they do realize that you need to go back to the Hebraic roots of the language. Church was not a reference to the building or the act of going to a specific time and place.
It was
church was a reference.
Asgard is not a place. It
was three or more joining to celebrate and share their faith. That's what church meant in the Hebraic translation.
Yep.
Temple is the building, and there were a lot of places, biblically even, where it called out the temple and said that not to go if it's corrupted.
Yeah.
So
there's so
you
much
see rainbows, you don't go.
I see so much hypocrisy in modern religion, because here's like the one big thing that I really separate from Christianity on. Christianity has like this hard-on for hating homosexuality, and here's the thing. Here is the actual truth. Okay, yes, homosexuality is a sin in the Bible, but so is every But
eating
you want to know the other
shellfish.
thing? And not even like all the other stuff, like murder, like all that stuff, divorce. Here's the thing: all sins are equal in the eyes of the Bible. They're in the eyes of God. There are no one sin that's greater than the other.
And
we're all
sinners. I need to finish this. But like what you see in like these modern Christian churches is they'll live together with a woman living in sin. They're obviously sleeping together. They'll do all this stuff. Oh, God will forgive me. I just need to pray. But the minute you mention like homosexuality, oh, you need to stop being homosexual. You need to pray the gay away, Hassan. It's like all these others, and we just lost 2 viewers because of this, and I don't fucking care. It's like they're
maybe
I understand.
It's regional.
Prioritizing.
Yeah, it's they're so fucking hypocritical about this shit. It's like If you're gay, I don't fucking care. You're a human being. Do whatever you want.
I think it's a regional thing too.
That's between you and God.
One moment here on this is I think it's a regional thing too, because I've never seen that part in the churches I grew up around where it's like instantly hate you. You've got to change. I've never seen the pray away or conversion stuff around the people I grew up around. But
it's more passive aggressive than in my opinion.
The thing that I find really crazy is the people who, okay, yes, it is a sin. I don't agree with forcing people to partake in the services or ceremonies or make art or stuff for it. I agree with that ruling because you can't force somebody to violate their religious conscience. That doesn't mean you treat people like crap because you disagree with their lifestyle, but it would in the same way be if you asked me as somebody who doesn't drink and has a lot of problems with it to host an alcohol party for somebody or make alcoholic artwork.
So
I'm not going to do that, you know?
You agree that churches should be allowed to not allow gay weddings on their site? Which I do agree with that. I actually do.
Yeah, that's a religious thing.
Yeah.
But the point I was getting at is, but I've seen these churches who they bring up all the stuff in the Old Testament, Leviticus. Well, first of all, when you're under the grace, faith without works is dead. Works without faith is dead. The grace is here to balance them. You're not automatically condemned because you're a sinner, but you're supposed to try to better yourself because you want the grace. However, they call out that and they talk constantly about the homosexuality in Gomorrah. The reason Gomorrah was destroyed, it actually lays out if you read the entire section, is because of the sexual assaults and the preying upon children.
Yep.
So like here's how I see it. Okay. Oh, Jay, what's up? What's up, brother? We're getting some good religious talk coming on. Here's how I see it. Okay, we are born sinners. We die sinners. All right.
We just try to better ourselves in the span we have.
We are going to sin, but the difference is we do our best not to sin. Okay, that's the whole point. Is we try not to sin as little as we can, and as long as we live a good life, we do good for others. You know, as long as we live that life where we do our best not to sin, knowing that we're probably going to sin. It's kind of an inevitability, but like try to not. You know what I'm saying? It's all about intention. It's all about what you try to do, because you know no one is perfect except Jesus Christ, and they're not. And it's like that's why many religions, like for example the Egyptian ones, you get judged based off of scales, based off your deeds and life, and that's kind of how I see things more. It's like it's more about what you do in life, not like it's not like any particular sin. It's how you treat people.
Yes.
It's how you are as a person that really determines if you get into heaven or not.
Can I drop some Hebrew in here?
Please,
real quick,
please.
and then I actually had a comment on his based on a Hebrew part too. So go ahead, real quick.
So as far as like you know, some of the teachings that I've endured was like the concept of tikkun olam, which basically translates to shattered world. And unlike with Christianity, we don't really see a heaven waiting for us. We see Sheol. We see basically there is like your life and death is kind of irrelevant in the sense that it's an inevitability. You're going to die. But the world that we're in right now is fucked. And it's your job as a Jewish person to make the world better than it was when you entered it. So when you leave this world, your good deed needs to be to make this world a better place, you know, to fix the shattered world than the way you entered it. That's it. That there's no like, in fact, the 10 Commandments, you know, even though that's Old Testament, that doesn't exist in the Torah or in the Talmud. It's actually the 10 sayings or the 10 declarations. And it's not about sin so much as this is a fucked up world. They're like, and it's our job to at least enact a positive imprint in it, because it lies in the same thing with karma and samsara and all that stuff, where you're going to get bad shit that hits you no matter if you're a good person or not. I mean, like you got the story of Job, you know, but the idea is that it's an echo every time, like a ripple in the water. Every time you put something good into the world, it's now going to be hitting other people and possibly coming back and hitting you as well. But every time you put something bad into the world, you're contributing to the shit that's already bad here. And that's why there's more bad happening to people, because there's, you know, don't do something good and expect good to hit you. Just make sure that you're leaving a better place than the world that you entered, essentially.
Yes. And to what he was saying with nobody's perfect except Jesus. We're all flawed in ways. I think everyone's heard the verse that talks about our greatest works are the equivalent of filthy rags, as they translate it in modern language, right? That verse has been through multiple translations. It started in Hebraic, went through Latin, and then out. When they translated it backwards, a bunch of scholars in Israel translating old Hebraic language, when they translated it backwards, they found that the word that translated down eventually to filthy rags was the phrase used for feminine products of those days. Or in other words, cleaning up female time of the month. So when you think about them saying biblically that no matter who you are as a human, your greatest works are the equivalent to God of filthy rags, and you find out where that translates from.
Of used tampons.
You're a bloody mess is what he's saying, basically. It bears in mind to remember, we're not told we're going to be perfect. I do not believe that a loving God, and this goes to every religion, is going to throw somebody away because they become disabled or because they're born with defects. I don't believe loving God's going to condemn somebody to hell because they never heard the name. And in fact, to those Christians who act like you're going to go to hell if you never heard of him, or all these people that were on these continents before they heard of Christianity went to hell, that flies in the face of the fact that the Bible says that by the end days, everyone will have had a chance to hear his name and to accept or deny. That can't exist and send people to hell just for not knowing. So I do believe there are cases where reincarnation can and will probably exist. I don't believe a kid is being condemned to hell or instantly taken to heaven because they die in the womb or a miscarriage or something. I believe they're given a chance at life somewhere.
I mean, a woman committing an abortion could be a bad deed that comes back to haunt them.
Yeah, that's a whole separate thing because that's you're ending the life. But I don't believe that kid is going to be condemned for anything because that kid is not the one who did it.
Yeah, they just repackage it and send the soul back into another baby.
I mean, there's a reason why babies are viewed as like the pinnacle of innocence because they literally are new to this world. They haven't had a chance to be corrupted yet. They haven't had a chance to be held by Eagle Riders yet, so they're good.
I'm actually very good with children, thank you. But no, it's seriously, and children are supposed to be the pinnacle of innocence and purity. It talks about age of accountability. I don't believe that's a physical age. I believe that's when your mind and your soul are able to comprehend around you. Which also is why I don't believe that people are condemned because they get things like dementia or Alzheimer's or they lose memory or have Parkinson's like I do and their memories go. I don't believe you're going to be held guilty and thrown in hell because your brain went and you weren't in control of yourself. That's not a loving God, and I don't believe it.
Speaking of children, I want to go back a little bit to the that whole racist thing. Like,
sorry, adorable child is being adorable. It's all good.
But like, I'm gonna put them on camera again. But like, look at this face. Look at this face. Yeah, you have to be on camera too, huh?
Who could hate that? I'm sorry.
How could you call that evil? You look at those.
That too.
How can you look at those adorable, smiling, happy faces full of innocence and love and kindness and say, no, based on their race, they're evil?
35-year-old cat ladies are literally typing up a storm right
now. I will say the younger one is very violent, so she might be evil. Sometimes. You got evil little sister.
My favorite thing to do when I was a baby was to smash my siblings over the head with a weighted rattle, so I can't complain about evil kids.
My personal belief is that evil is more often than not taught than it is inherited. There's often, like, what's it called? There are exceptions to the rule because if you go on Investigation Discovery, there's at least one episode, and you know the one I'm talking about, where kids are evil, sadistic little B words.
Yeah, that's a nature versus nurture argument. Like that's a whole nother discussion right there.
But generally, 99% plus, children are partly a product of their own choices, partly a product of their environment.
Oh, absolutely.
You can aspire to be better than what you're taught to be. You can become better people. You can grow past what you've experienced. But what you've seen, what you've experienced, will play a part of how you develop as a person.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
Why do you think like if you look at like Blade Runner 2049, like they talk about how like the thing that defines a replicant is their memories, and the thing that makes them human is their experience. So like that's their kind of comment on humanity. Is like our memories are what make us who we are. They define us as human beings, and so like that. I want to bring that up, kind of like to expand upon what Ego was saying.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a topic that is very near and dear to me. Sorry, but because I'm currently, halfway raising my nieces in place of their parents for the time being, and I can definitely say a lot of who they are, who they could have been, is been basically snuffed out by the time they were living with their mom. It is definitely, I think the best way for me to put it is a person's attitude partially comes from nature, but also partially comes from nurture.
Yeah. So I was going to say, go ahead. We're still going.
Like my oldest niece, Evie, she is the kindest, sweetest, most sensitive, but also most brilliant child you will ever come across if you talk to her. Like, she has been so good at speaking since she was like not even a year old, that she's got parents of older kids thinking that she's like 7. She's not. She's going to be 5 this month.
Oh wow!
And so much of who she was going to be was just torn away from her by the constant screaming, physical abuse of her that her parents basically put each other through. Mostly her mom to her dad. And it tears at me so much, because every so often I'll see her kind of start to doubt herself. Like, why don't I live with my parents? Don't they love me? Where's my place in this family? Kind of thing.
My godson.
She's not even 5. She shouldn't have to go through that. And now it's completely destroyed the person she was going to become because of their selfishness.
My godson has a lot of the same kind of issues with things, and he's reaching into his early 20s now and dealing with stuff, but he was, and this is the dark part of it, he actually survived 2 abortions, being forced on his mother against her will.
Oof. And survivor.
He spent the first 6 years of his life on machines.
Oh, I'm so
she spent
sorry.
15 years going through medical treatments and surgeries before she had another kid. So I'm on the board of an inner city black church. These are the kids we reach out to. So you deal with some of the dark stuff. Let's be honest. He's the sweetest kid, and he's got the biggest heart, all this stuff, and just absolutely wonderful boy who's always helping take care of everyone else.
Yeah.
As smart as he is now, how much did he lose by having this stuff done to him when he is that small?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Evie was almost aborted. Her mother wanted to get an abortion, and the only reason she didn't get aborted was because her mother forgot her health card.
I don't know what I would have been.
I have no idea if I even would still be here without that little girl, because she gave me my entire reason for living.
Yeah. I don't know what I could have been. I know that my first memory is waking up from a massive seizure. I know it burns scars into my head, and that's from tainted meds being given to the tribe. I don't know what I would have been. I don't know what my brain was. I know the issues it has now. I have no memory before that. So I can't say what I could have been. I can't say what I would have been. I can just say what I know it's done to me. And I think that's a cross we all bear with that. But we were talking about it's taught to us. This intolerance, this hate, this treating each other subhuman, this cruelty to other humans. And let's face it, that's what was done to me,
absolutely.
what I went through. My nephew is very, very much a little blonde white boy. Or he was as a kid. He's older now, but he was one of the first in my nieces and nephews, so he's early 20s now. But he was very much this very white boy. His best friend through his early childhood His name was Kendrick, and he was very, very black. And this is a city we lived in is very native with some white, and there's not a lot of black there. So he's not what you normally see or deal with there. And he never even noticed his skin or that he wasn't like him until he was getting older and learning about genetics and history. He didn't even realize they were different. That was just his best friend. And it never fazed him at all. And that's what I think we all have to aspire to be. You don't care if we're different. You just love somebody because they're a friend, they're a good person, or they deserve it.
I gotta bring this up. The thing that I always go by is classic Dr. King quote: "Judge a person not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character." And that has been the marching order for most of my life, and I'd say it served me pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
same.
definitely.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The reason I work well with the church I'm with now is because the day I met the pastor there, who's the adopted mother of my godkids, I stopped to talk to them when they were doing prayer vigils with people. And I was in a full-length black velvet gown and full gothic makeup. And it didn't faze them at all. It didn't faze her at all. In fact, when I showed up more modest at church, she's like, "You don't have to change how you dress for there." It's like, okay, I can get along here because you're not being hypocrites. You're not telling somebody they're evil because they look different. I'm good with this. But it's like, it kind of was almost an instant litmus test, you know?
A shit test.
Yeah.
It didn't phase her. And this was not, it wasn't even that modest of a gothic dress. This was slits on both sides, old peasant top, velvet dress. It didn't phase any of them. They were all warm to me. So it's like, okay, I can deal with this. I can deal with this group, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just love each other. Fuck the differences. Fuck our issues. We're
Just
human.
Just fuck everyone. Just fuck. It solves everything.
One of my
Take it straight down to the gutter, but yes, get laid sometimes. It might help your attitudes, people.
Y'all motherfuckers need that pussy and penis, so.
One of my favorite things that Evie's done recently is, so I have a whole collection of JoJo plushies and a couple of little figurines. Well, she saw the one of Abdul, and for anyone who doesn't watch JoJo, Abdul is Egyptian, and he's very dark skinned, very noticeably dark skinned, especially compared to the others. And Evie asked me, she pointed at him, and she goes, "What's his name?" And I said, "Abdul." Well, actually, what she said is, "What's the black guy's name?" And I said, "Abdul." And she goes, "Huh, he's pretty. How come we don't have a boy of him?"
Well, okay, Jared. You're welcome to come on. I mean, we're kind of, yeah.
Yes, you did, didn't you?
Yeah, we got room for one more. So,
I'll make a cheap shot at the whole representation comments everyone always makes, because as native as I am, I grew up in an area that's very native. You would think I was used to seeing people like me in entertainment and stories, right? Because I grew up in a very native culture as a native girl. But because of the albino issues and the Celtic side, as much as I knew that was my culture, I didn't feel like I looked like or that fit with those people. I fit with Ariel. That was my mind told me I was more like her when I was a little girl because she looked more like me. Some people talk about this.
Still here? Check Twitter.
It's not that simple. Every group, depending on where you are, you could be the minority in any group. You know?
Yeah. Well, like for me, representation, like I don't need to see myself in the characters. I just need to be able to like them. Like I
no,
look back
exactly.
At, like there are like female, like when we watched like the Hunger Games, for example. Okay, as a dude, I'm not like I don't identify with anybody. I don't see myself represented, but I can definitely sympathize with Katniss. You know, it's a female character.
jumping
The
off
idea
that,
is that you don't have to physically see yourself being represented,
Yes.
so long as you can identify with a struggle or a particular
Oh,
persona of
And
a
I
character.
agree.
Oh,
I was just
going
making
off of
shots
that-
at the. They always
Yeah,
say
that's- I have to see
representation, and they
myself.
say it as you have to have people that look this certain way. Well, it's only one certain way they want you to look. You have to look like one of these few minorities, and you have to have these potato bodies, and somehow their representation is not allowed to represent women who have curves. We're not allowed to exist. If we do, we're sex toys and male gays, and we're not real people.
All right, Rose,
Exactly.
I gotta ask you to pause for a second.
Master Chief, you mind telling me what you're doing on that ship?
Sir, finishing this fight.
Hello there.
Hey,
For Kenobi. And
Hello,
for
Jared.
Elena-
Now that is an introduction.
hello,
Why,
my
thank
friend.
you, sir.
All right, I gotta tell the story while we're talking about like representation. So you want to know like one character that I find like really empowering and really like it really kind of brings like emotionally lifts me up.
Who?
Tomb Raider 2013. I know Melanie Mack is not gonna like hearing that, but
Oh, I
Sorry.
love that game. You kidding me?
no, Melanie Mack doesn't like that version of Lara Croft. So like
Yeah.
that kind of-
Yeah, Melanie has a big problem with the newer Tomb Raider stuff, and
Yeah.
I do understand where she's coming from, but it was a
yeah,
decent
but
game.
we can have that conversation. I was like, so it's Tomb Raider 2013, and so like the theme of that game is surviving, and that's why like I tend to gravitate like the other like I played Rise, that was good. Played a little bit of Shadow, it's good too. But Tomb Raider 2013, that's the game that I tend to just gravitate to because like it's all about surviving. It's all about like overcoming the odds and just just fighting on. Like she gets the shit kicked out of her.
Yeah, she does.
But,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
God, does she ever?
Particularly if
I
you
gotta-
can't do the QuickTime events.
I gotta tell you, my favorite moment from that game is the moment when you're going through like the Japanese monastery and you get the grenade launcher. Like get the grenade launcher attachment, and you do that. And when she says, "That's right, you better run," and like I fucking love that moment so fucking much because like
Well, you see-
no, Jared, please, I gotta do this. So it's like she's all through this, like she's been like cowering and hiding and whatnot, but now the hunted has become the hunter, and I am there for it. Sorry, I was typing myself up, Jared. What are you gonna
Turnabout's fair play.
Yeah, but I think
One of the best tropes ever.
yes. One of the things here's what I noticed about a lot of people is that they see this could be just me. I could be wrong. I'm probably not because I am the god of comics. So there you go. I think
excuse me.
Thank you.
Oh,
I think the issue that a lot of people have with
the
these.
one in this conversation who's actually published comics. I don't know if you have.
Hey,
I'm in the process of doing that. So.
Okay. I'm one of
Technically, I have to a degree. I didn't create it, but I did actually do cover art on some. So
2.5.
My point is, it was the same issue I saw people having with like Man of Steel, is that a lot of people don't like seeing the origin stories of their heroes. They may tell you they do, but they don't because they don't like seeing their heroes not yet at their, I guess, hero-ness, if you will, like with Superman or with Lara Croft. Because here's the thing, in Tomb Raider 2013, she's not really Lara Croft yet. She's building because it's basically her origin story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
well, it's also because they keep telling the origin stories over and over.
Well,
a lot of
yeah,
people are burned out on them too.
That's true. But it's
and to be fair,
Can I be fair? The only thing I like about Man of Steel is watching fucking Kevin Costner die. Sorry.
God.
I fucking hate that
God.
bastard. I fucking hate him.
Wow.
Well, I know one.
And it
person
is
who watched
absolutely
Yellowstone.
personal. I fucking
Well,
hate him.
I guarantee. I think we found one person who definitely does not watch Yellowstone.
That show pisses off anybody actually from that area. The
See,
Yellowstone through Black Hills area. He's not representing the culture right, and they fucking hate him. And part of why they hate him is because he was an abusive son of a bitch when they did Dances with Wolves, and he and the production crew never paid a single native who worked on it.
I did not know that.
Wow.
I had family in it.
Oh.
See, I don't like Yellowstone. Like, I watched the first season, it was fine. But, like, the second season, I just got fucking sick and tired of Beth. Beth is, like, the death of plots. Because she was just fucking shit up. Like, you cannot have a coherent plot. Like, I think the thing that, like, where I stopped watching was, like, you had the lawyer guy come back to the family, and, like, he's trying to help the family, and he's like, oh, I'm going to make you lose your law degree. Like, she was just, like, trying to fuck everything up for chaos sake, and I'm like, I get that, like, the extra character, but, like, we're trying to have a fucking story here. Like, could you please not derail the story every other scene? Like, it just becomes fucking annoying watching it.
Agreed.
Okay,
Okay,
like,
so
I gotta say this one part, though. Like, I've met women like her in real life, and so that's partially that. Like, she kind of reminds me of some people I've met in my life, and it just boils my blood. Go ahead.
I just have to say, I'm sorry, I kind of tirade, but I really don't like him. Can you tell? And the thing is that was after his fucking Robin Hood was when they did Dances with Wolves, not before. And I hated him from that Robin Hood too, before he treated the family this way.
Robin Hood Men in Tights is better. I'm going to say it.
Well, the thing is, Prince of Thieves could have been a good movie if they actually had an actor who could play the part and had a fucking English accent and didn't come off as a lazy son of a bitch.
Okay. You talk. I have to pull this clip up. You know the clip I'm going to put up. But go ahead.
Oh, do it.
I'm a little concerned, but it's nice to know someone else is a fan of the tornado scene from Man of Steel.
Actually, so I tried to watch the movie and I couldn't get into any of it. Every time you saw him, I wanted to punch him in the face. But I did watch that tornado scene over and over and over and over and over.
Any excuse I have to flip through this movie.
Oh, geez.
Oh, fucking bring it. I love Men in Tights and I love Carrie Ellis.
If you do not stop levying these evil taxes, I shall lead the good people of England in a revolt against you.
It's one of my favorites.
And why should the people listen to you?
Because, unlike some other Robin Hoods, I can speak with an English accent.
I love it.
The fact that I can do that in tone with it should tell you how much I watch Mel Brooks movies, by the way.
Oh my God.
By the way,
I'm a fucking Mel Brooks addict.
If you're paying attention, there's a scene where he's on the rope and he goes, "Oh, right rope." In the background, you can see a big green exit sign.
Oh my God, there's so many.
Like it's an actual mall.
There's so many details. Like with Lincoln, he's using like a blind version of Playboy, or like 20. Like when he gets a fox, it's like 14th century fox. Like there's so many like small details. I'm sorry,
underwear tights.
Pissed off. If I was that close to a horse's wiener, I'd be worried about getting pissed on.
Yeah.
Wait. Hey,
Lend me your ears. That is disgusting.
Like, wait, no. Wait.
Princess Bride.
Abe
Bride.
Did you say Abe Lincoln? No, I said Abe Lincoln. Hold the reins.
Okay,
you
he had
haven't
to
seen
be.
The Last of Us.
I have a thing with Carrie Ellis stuff, and that goes partly back to Princess Bride. A lot of context here. First of all, when we first started to actually get out of the third world slum shit, the movies that me and my brothers and sister watched together when mom and dad had to travel for dad's medical, when I didn't have to go for my medical also, were Willow and Princess Bride. First of all, I cut my lip trying to recreate the cliff scenes with my sister as a child. My first date with my husband, after we talked for 3 days straight in college, which was a long story, when we decided we were going to go out, what we did was we went out, ate a bunch of Chinese food, came back to the dorm, and watched Princess Bride and Spaceballs.
Oh my God, yes.
Nice choice.
You didn't get them. You got the stunt doubles.
Yeah. And then you fast forward a few years. Our wedding song was Storybook Love from that. Every anniversary, we rewatch it together. When I first met the online groups for our anniversary, Odin, over at Odin's Movie Blog, put together a watch party the night before our anniversary for Princess Bride for us in the group.
The night is young.
The next year, Anthony, Dark Gift Comics, worked with me to actually do a cover of that with a poem I wrote to Steve and release it on our anniversary for him. So
that's
when he
beautiful.
brings up that, Princess Bride is like interwoven in me so much at this fucking point.
Did you see there was a trailer they did for Deadpool the PG-13 edition where they lampooned Princess Bride, where he kidnaps Fred Savage, ties him up with chains,
Yes.
and then is reading to him the story of Deadpool?
Good commercial.
Yeah.
Or ad or whatever.
By the way, if you ever want to get into something fun on YouTube, look up, if you haven't watched them, the Deadpool musicals.
Rose, have
Those
you
exist?
seen the Princess Bride COVID edition?
Oh God.
Oh
What?
God.
Oh
No. It's where a bunch of celebrities actually redid Princess Bride like the whole way through, and it's all through like TikTok kind of stuff. Like it actually has a lot of heart to it.
By the way, Nick, can I show something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Someone just DM'd this to me on Twitter with "This is why Lois and Clark don't work."
Uh-oh.
Oh Lord,
my-
this is
so
gonna be
share
really,
my-
really
oh, God,
bad.
Share my
I-
screen.
Is this gonna be something that'll get his channel flagged?
No.
So you're saying that scene from a Scary Movie where she was sticking to the ceiling? She would go through the ceiling?
Well, he just needs a kryptonite condom.
I just
Again,
have to,
I always say this.
the whole Mallrats debate, where I guarantee you,
Yes,
it goes along
yes.
right through her back.
That's exactly what I was.
I guess you could say that like that takes a whole new meaning about blowing a girl's back out.
Oh man.
Oh Jesus.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, I have a little bit of a twisted, dark sense of humor. Okay.
Hey,
Also,
Nick.
Eagle, I sent you something to view later. Wait, oh my
Since
god!
you brought it up, I happened to.
Over there, that's just the guy in the suit!
But they're engaged. Doesn't matter, it can't happen. Why not? It's bound to come. It's impossible. Lois could never have Superman's baby. Do you think her fallopian tubes can handle his sperm? I guarantee he blows a load like a shotgun right through the back. What about a womb? Child? Why not? He's an alien, for Christ's sake. His Kryptonian biological makeup is enhanced by Earth's yellow sun. If Lois gets a tan, the kid could kick right through her stomach. Only someone like Wonder strong enough uterus to carry his kid. The only way to name regular chicks is with a kryptonite condom. That would kill him. How did I go?
So there you go.
Also,
Yes,
also,
that was exactly what I was talking about.
also, like, I'm sorry since we're on this scene. Like, do you want to see what it would look like if Superman actually like had sex?
Oh no.
Oh no.
Is this
Oh,
actually
wait.
gonna get the
Real
channel
quick,
flagged?
how many of you guys have read The Dark Knight Strikes Again?
Mm-mm. I haven't read that one.
So there was a scene in that when Superman and Wonder Woman do have sex, but the force of it causes hurricanes and tornadoes. Like it
Jesus.
capsizes aircraft carriers. Wait, I'll pull that up.
All
Hang
right.
on.
All right.
Oh God, I know this
Oh,
one. Yes.
both of them are
I'm
shaking.
gonna get the sheet taken down for sure.
Watch out!
Side note: I have the extended edition, unrated version of that movie.
Oh,
like,
no.
like I'm sorry, but like I love that scene. Like, it's a perfect companion piece to like the kryptonite condom because it just
It is, and God, you guys are finding out way too much about my interests today for me to come off as innocent anymore. Just
Joke's on you.
I don't think we
Whoever
want to see your
innocent-
Google search history.
Yeah.
look, I am kind of open about being a, rope bunny sub. So what do you want?
Jared.
Well,
I mean-
that's how he had John. They had to depower him.
My
Those who
alien
destroyed
shirt. Do
Lois.
you guys know why I bought this alien shirt? Because
Why?
it puts the eyes right on the boobs.
My eyes are down here.
Oh wow! All right, Nick, share my screen.
Oh,
Share my screen, Nick. All right, so here it is. So first they start making out, then they go right through an iceberg, then they fly into the sky, fly in the sky, and then crash down and cause an aircraft carrier.
God.
And they're all recording like evacuations on the Big Island of Hawaii because of a big volcano eruption. And then she goes, "Oh yeah, I'm pregnant again."
She knew that quickly.
So that's
should
what
have
Frank Miller
capsized.
thinks would happen.
No, they should have capsized it with almost extinction level. They should have just had Yellowstone blow. I mean, it is the world's largest volcano. Just
The
saying.
magma chamber, yes. In
Well,
fact, they found a new magma chamber underneath Yellowstone that doubles the original size that we believed it was.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I'm from that whole region where I grew up in the Black Hills area. I've spent a lot of my childhood in Yellowstone. In fact, side note for how crazy I am, since we got into this already here, if you could wait 1 sec on that. Side note on that. He's not going to. He's not going to let me finish. Fine.
Is this a chick in a sex coat?
Oh yeah!
Really?
Yeah, that blonde was implicated in like a sex coat.
Yeah, she was. He actually just got released from prison.
Damn. Kristen Cruick. Good God.
This is you go out and fix the
God
barn.
damn. Yeah.
That's a dime right there for me. I'm
Couldn't
sorry.
you have let me finish my sentence?
Sorry, I was overcome by visuals.
That's just Nick.
She still looks good. Like, have you seen like her and Reaper? She
Nick.
still looks good.
I was in the
Go
middle
ahead.
of something.
Nick.
If I can remember
We're
it.
trying to talk, Nick. Be a good host. Be a good host.
What I was trying to get at, I'm trying to even remember now. We were talking about the magma and Yellowstone with that. There's one more side note to that to key you in on what kind of a little girl I was. I spent the ages of 3 to 17 until I found out I medically couldn't, studying to be a forest ranger in Yellowstone because I wanted to work with the bison in boiling mud.
Hey, that's neat as hell. So,
Nice.
Cool.
but I mean,
Well, then.
you grew up basically just like a couple hundred miles north of where I live and grew up. So, you and I are
Oh.
basically. I'm Denver. I'm Denver native.
Okay. Yeah, a few hundred, but yeah.
But, I mean,
my family's from Pine Ridge. I grew up in the Black Hills and part of Wyoming, Montana, ranged for different parts. So
Yeah, well, my dad used to repair satellite places, so we actually used to go up and visit Wyoming all the time. So
yeah, I love the mountains. I love the wild nature and all that stuff. That's why I got into being the nature photographer and stuff. It's basically the culmination. I'm an artist who wanted to be a forest ranger. So I do nature photography and I work volunteering, helping DNR track animals, protect ones, track poachers and stuff like that.
yeah.
So it's the culmination of what I can do within my medical restrictions.
Hey, there you go. Work with what you got.
Yeah, of course, right? There's no excuse to give up ever for anybody. No matter what you're dealing with, find something you can do within it. I was told I would never do anything that took any hand-eye coordination or function from the nerve damage and stuff like that. That was before they knew I had the Parkinson's.
Ooh.
I work as an artist and a photographer. Don't let people tell you no.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, most people say you'll never be a historian. It takes far too much work. You're far too lazy, and there's no money in it. And sure, on paper, I'm not a historian, but that didn't stop me from buying a crap ton of books and reading and researching and basically commenting on it. Also, yes, hello, cat.
Bobcat
All you have to
that
do-
I photographed in the wild on Christmas Eve.
Nice. Also, yes,
Well, all
I
you
know
gotta
what the
do is say-
bobcat is. Just I was like,
Yeah. I was just
if
being
I
a
have to start
troublemaker.
splitting trains of thought, I get really bad.
Sorry, I do too, but I get hyper and it does it unintentionally sometimes. Also, the fact that I had a
Also,
friend make me
AMS
this
target.
avatar says enough about me. Hi, MS.
Hey, buddy.
And remember,
Okay.
all you got to do is say, I identify as a historian nowadays.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys.
yeah, but I much prefer to not be an armchair historian because that the
Yeah.
Is there a specific historical like
I I don't know if you guys could see my avatar very well, but the fact that I had a friend make me this and say he thought it was a perfect representation of my personality should say a lot.
Oh, wow. Well, that says a lot.
Yeah, really.
There's a lot of details in this, from the artist pens and brushes in the cleavage to the sausages behind to the eagle and the rose painted on a paddle to everything. He put a lot of different things for me in this.
Yeah, Jesus.
This is just what they want. I'll be in my bunk.
To be fair, I am such a nerd. Oh, 1 sec. I have to have my husband bring something out here a sec. One moment.
Nick, that was excellent. Oh my gosh.
I have been
For a second there was a little concern, and then when I knew the scene that you were using, I was like, oh god.
Yeah.
Nick, you missed a great moment.
There's something I made that kind of sums up the culmination of my time as a nerd on YouTube really well. Because I painted this on streams, actually, and it gets shown off a lot.
Is it safe for work?
It's not going to get you in trouble.
Okay.
It depends on where you work.
Well, let me put it this way. Showing it to you won't get you in trouble. If we use it, we will.
Oh, okay.
I painted this, and this shows how much of a Trek nerd I am.
I'm concerned right about now. Right now, I'm a little concerned with the
using. Let's just say I have my finger over the remove button, so... Oh,
Let's just say I named it to Boldly Spank. It literally is a...
Get your
star
I'll be on my
system
bunk
with an
clip ready.
Enterprise. This is literally a solar system with an Enterprise painted onto a paddle.
I'll be in my bunk.
So, does it boldly go where no... Rose, does it boldly go where no paddle has ever gone before?
There's no such place.
See,
I
Rose,
named it to
do it,
Boldly
Captain.
Spank.
I don't have the power.
Rose,
But yes,
Rose
this
right
is
now-
all
Wait,
hand
Doctor,
painted.
not a pool man.
Rose right now, guys. Rose right now, like showing us this, she's like,
Weapons are part of my religion.
They are a part of my religion.
Yeah.
Heck, America.
This took a lot. I did do a sketch on paper first, which is why you have a little edge here because it's epoxy deep onto it because I sketched the Enterprise before I painted it because I was having trouble getting the shape right.
oh, it's edgy? No. Wow.
But this is actually hand painted from me.
Well done.
Nice.
But
Very cool.
I mean, also,
Has-
you
wait,
want to say
wait.
weapons are my
Has it been
religion? I've
used?
got 2
Has it been
katanas,
used?
a broadsword.
Does this count?
100, like, 4
Well,
four
hasn't been
battle
used for its intended
quality
purpose.
daggers, 100 pocket knives, and I think probably in the neighborhood
Heck!
of 8 guns.
5 golden.
I
You are
plead
John
the
Wick,
fifth.
my friend. You are John Wick.
And
Yeah,
yet
basically.
he's listing
Wait.
that, and I'm sitting there going, I'm actually kind of the
What
same.
have you done?
I kind of collect weapons. I've been studying with them since I was a little kid. Actually, okay,
Yeah.
little history. Back when I was a carpenter, we kind of got. Do not leave a bunch of boys and a rowdy girl alone in a construction site when they're training and they're young. Our supervisor kind of did while we were doing demolition, and we got in our heads to take all those metal light plates and electrical outlets and stuff like that and flatten them and cut them into throwing stars and have a competition with them into the building we were tearing down.
Oh, neat.
It was kind of fun, actually.
All right, I gotta do this.
Oh no. Oh no. What's he doing? Should I get my
Shinai.
trident? Actually, wait.
This is Kendo Shinai.
Since we're grabbing our
Also, I got-
weapons.
Oh. Also, I have to do this. I gotta.
Versus the Atlantean
All right,
Trident.
yes.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Oh, God, you just lost points. It's a fucking Krylo. You lose points.
In my defense,
I got a better one. I got a better one.
Wait, Kieran. In my defense, I got this for $1 at a garage sale.
Nice.
Still a Krylo.
All right, fine. Let me make up for it.
All
Let me
right.
grab something that will.
Wait.
Like that.
Here you go. Behold.
Nice.
I see your Schwartz is as big as mine. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm a terrible girl. I know.
I don't have
All
a
right.
camera, so I can't exactly show it.
Nice.
But you want to go?
All right, I
You wanna
win.
fucking
I
go?
win.
You want to go?
Oh
Let's
no.
go.
All right.
Oh
I
no.
win. This is a master replica Darth Vader saber.
Oh, cool.
I win.
Nice.
I love
I
how
have
we're
a
comparing
1910
weapons
trench
now.
gun, trench broom in my
I
hand
have
right now.
I have them carved in. I have hand carved and used my own bows and arrows and stuff too. So
Nice.
Yes,
I'm not
I
a
think we're all
girly
forgetting
girl.
one
Let's
thing.
just put
With
it that
this-
way.
I think we're forgetting. There's one point of this that no one's mentioned. With this, I rule 3/4 of the earth.
Also
you
true.
do realize that is
Dream
not-
on.
That is Jared. That is not Atlan's trident, though. That is his mother's trident. So you don't.
No, but Arthur was always supposed to take over the throne. So
Yeah,
de
but
facto it's
Atlan's
fine.
trident means you rule 3/4 of the earth, and that is not Atlan's trident. So fuck you.
Oh
Did
damn.
Orm have Atlan's trident? Did Orm have
Nerd
Atlan's trident?
wars.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's on.
Orm.
Oh, God damn it, bitches.
Orm wasn't the king of all of them. He was only the king of Atlantis.
No, but he rallied all the kingdoms together pretty much. And if Arthur hadn't shown up, he would be Ocean Master.
But Atlan's trident, he who holds it, it's basically Excalibur. But that is not Atlan's trident. You have if you were holding Atlan's trident, then yes, you could say that. But you are not Atlantean. You are not the descendant of the king, so you have no right.
Well,
to call
except
yourself
here's the
Atlantis.
thing. In the comics, it wasn't Atlan's trident. It was just Arthur's trident. If I have Arthur's trident that he used in Justice League and kicked Steppenwolf in the ass with, technically I still rule Atlantis in the comics. So suck
I
it.
reject your reality. Substitute your own. I win.
Oh damn.
You are not Adam Savage.
you
You don't
mean-
get that
oh,
excuse,
you
you
mean-
fucker.
Oh, Nick, you mean the fake reality where Wonder Bat is a legitimate ship?
Okay, now on a side note, wait. Before you guys war, on a side note, because you're talking about these weapons that only some people could have or yield, I have to still point out one of my favorite memes of all time was just the meme of a guy in a Spider-Man suit like this next to a toilet with a hammer on it that said Thor's an asshole.
I love that.
I love it. Jared, remember, you're in my castle. I can do this.
Don't be a bitch.
Yeah, seriously, man.
I'm sorry if you take someone
Guys.
that's using logic.
Guys, for those of you who are aware, we're just doing this for fun. Like, I'm not actually going to kick him out. It's just more just be playful.
Oh yeah.
Even though
It's a
Jared does
running
do
joke.
shit.
I do that shit to my friends all the time. Fuck it. I change their names all the time and give them horrible captions under them that say insulting, degrading, sexual things.
Oh, if only.
You do know that these stream hosts can actually change the name of everybody in the chat.
Oh,
me keep mine.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Nick, Nick, you better. You son of a.
Blame me. I told them. Blame me. I told them.
Damn.
I just want to bring up that before I ended up leaving to fix my audio issues, y'all sounded like fucking Alvin and the Chipmunks.
I'm okay.
Oh my god, we're doing this. We're doing
You know, I
this.
told you this just so it would start you guys doing this shit.
Oh god.
Oh, I'm gonna have a lot of fun on tonight's stream on Comics League.
Oh
I'm gonna
yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of fun
fun
on my stream tonight as well.
Did I
Which,
start
by the
some
way,
shit
I'm
by
doing
letting you
Kingdom
guys
Hearts.
know that?
Oh, that is low, you douche! That is low. If you want to talk about a character that has outlived her usefulness, look down at my name right now.
Ooh.
Yeah, they do, and they can fuck off. How's that? I mean,
So
yeah,
Master
let's
Sergeant,
kinda-
we kind of came to a conclusion about the companies hanging the fans. It
They
was
do.
kind of what most people assume to be true, which is basically just we're going to make your characters be worth less so that you're not interested in them, and you'll be more interested in the politically convenient characters that we're going to be peddling down your throats.
Well, it's
At
the-
least
it's
that was
the-
kind of the general understanding from tonight before we at least got off the rails.
I mean, we got
just
off the
feels
rails.
like, it feels.
I'd
yeah.
like to.
We
speak
were
on
ever on the
topic a
rail?
little.
All right. Nix, go ahead.
So, for anyone who doesn't know, I actually have a very, very extremely rare genetic disorder. A couple of them, actually. One that.
yay! I'm not the only one here who it does. Yay!
But it's a vascular disorder, one of them, that causes these strange red blotches to appear on points of my skin. What causes that is apparently, as I learned at a young age, was that basically it's because my veins are much closer to the surface of my skin than most other people's.
Blood draws must be a breeze.
And they're really fucking not. Like, at all. I hate them, they suck. The second one came from the fact that I was actually supposed to be part of a set of twins. The other twin did not make it, and it was very early on in utero that he or she ended up being absorbed into the left side of my then still forming body.
Actually, they're finding that's more common than they used to think. They're finding more and more people have the multiple DNAs and the twin issues.
Well, here's where the rare part comes from. So apparently, what has happened is basically that the left half of my body grows at a faster, larger rate than the other half. And for a lot of people, the majority of the people that have this, it also affects their organs. And I'm basically one of the only people, if probably the only person, to ever make it past 25
Oh wow.
with this disorder.
Wow.
Because thankfully, it doesn't affect my organs for some strange reason. And I can say this as someone who is considered by the Canadian government to be disabled. I don't want to see people who look like me. I want to see people with my values. I don't want people like Brie Larson picking up disabled journalists to do their interviews because they think it'll get them fucking woke points. We're not purse puppies. We're human beings.
We're not. And welcome to
And
the
we
club of the
prefer-
weird. Welcome to the club of the weird freaks who shouldn't have lived to adulthood. I have a very, very rare seizure condition that was supposed to kill me by 11 because it literally rips through my brain tissue. I also am allergic to my own tears. So welcome to the club.
No wonder you're such a salty bitch.
Ooh.
Go suck a fat one.
Rose, I'm sorry. I just could not resist the quip. If I did piss you off, I do apologize.
Oh, Nick pisses everyone off.
Like, I know I might not be like a fucking person of color, but I am disabled. At least
You are a person in my mind, thus you deserve a voice.
But like,
I'm a mutant albino minority anyway, so fuck them. I'm
Death
on your
to all
side with
mutants.
this.
Death to all
I'm with you. Fuck you, Nick.
one of the things I hate the most, especially, is a bunch of people. So this is also something most people probably don't know unless you check my Twitter, and I've talked about it maybe once or twice. I am partially Algonquin. I have Algonquin Métis blood in me. My grandmother used to go to powwows and socialize with actual full-blooded Algonquin people. So one of the things that has absolutely burned me as of late is this this whole thing concerning like native characters or native stories, especially from like Algonquin natives, like the what do you call them?
He does that knowing it'll make the name go off screen so he can change it. Put it back. Put it back.
Wait.
The Wendigo story. I like people have taken to seeing Wendigos as this, oh, you can't talk about them, don't touch them kind of creatures. That belongs to the natives. That's the Algonquin stories. All the people that I have met in my tribe are absolutely very keen on sharing their legends, their way of life with people who they would consider outsiders.
I mean,
because to them, that's how they keep that cast going.
Yeah, well,
you're not going to win this war with me, Nick.
I mean, honestly, that's the best way to ensure, that your cultural values and your myths and your legends are kept alive. If you keep them insular, if the people go, so do the myths and legends. But if you share them and you get people interested in them and they start sharing them, all of a sudden you've got something that's functionally immortal.
Exactly. And one of the reasons I bring this up is because I used to watch this YouTuber who would go and refurbish dolls, and one of her most popular ones ended up being a Wendigo doll that she made from Monster High Girls. People who weren't even natives started harassing her, telling her to take it down because it was insulting the native culture. She was basically performing blasphemy, and she ended up taking it down, and then she explained it all in a video with the comments off. And at that point, I kind of just unsubscribed and went about my business, because, like, if you're not even gonna, like, give actual natives the voice to speak back and say, no, we love this doll, that was really cool of you to do, thank you for giving a part of our history, part of our culture, some spotlight.
Yeah,
but you're a coward.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Even with me, because I love all things Japanese. If you look in my den, which I spend most of my day in when I'm not working or something, there's posters of kanji and katakana. There's stuff that I actually got from Japan. I'll speak Japanese, what little I am still in the middle of learning, and people are like, "Oh, how dare you, a white ass cracker, trying to steal Japanese culture from the Japanese." It's like, dude, you idiot. I went to Kyoto for 2 weeks, and not only were the native Kyotoans there thankful and happy that I was speaking their language to them and sharing in their culture and sharing it further, they're like, yeah, keep going. I like this. I'm glad that you do this sort of stuff. So
and
that's how we understand.
A lot of
let me speak here as the Lakota girl who's always getting called racist slurs for white people and being told I'm appropriating my own fucking culture because I'm not allowed to be albino, apparently. Fuck their fifis. Fuck them hard, and I hope it hurts. In Minecraft, people. Thank you. I'm good.
Like, I don't know. I for a long time thought maybe it was just me. Like I thought it was always so cool to see these different creatures from my tribe's mythology in all the ways that people interpreted it. And I'm not gonna lie, I think my favorite version of this is the cannibalistic deer thing that people started coming up with more later, because from my understanding of it, from doing research, it started out as kind of this pale, ghostly figure. It was just a way to keep the tribe together during, like, snowstorms. Mm-hmm. Hey, don't go out alone, we're trying to move to a safer place. You might get caught up by the Wendigo and you'll never be seen again.
Have you ever seen the interpretation in... Oh, sorry.
To, like, this cannibalistic deer monster that, like, just kind of hulks out in the forest waiting for its next prey. And you know what? I like it. I think it's neat.
If I ever actually get my stuff released. Sorry. I'm not sure.
Yeah, in the game Until Dawn, it's about the Wendigo.
Oh yeah, I've seen. I think probably though that's kind of my least favorite interpretation, mostly because it kind of just. I don't know, when you've got like the really cool decrepit deer monster thing as a
skull
go-to.
deer.
Literally, that's the coolest I think a Wendigo's ever looked. And then you go and you see it. When I heard there were Wendigos in Until Dawn, I was like, oh, it's so fucking cool. And then they look like emaciated fucking golems. I'm like, oh.
I just want to get in here real quick and warn Nick. I have that clip that I can play for your intro for CLD tonight, so you better watch it. For those of you that don't know, I made an intro for Nick for my show that includes his logo on Captain Marvel and Batgirl and Nightwing making out because I know it annoys the hell out of him. So, check and mate.
Nick,
You sure
it's
about
all
that,
love.
Robert?
Are you sure you want to screw with all of us?
Well, there's a reason I'm always screwing with Jared.
Remember, dude, I'm the one that gives you free promotion.
Wait. What did he just say?
I have no idea.
Nick, what did you say? There's a reason what?
There's a reason I'm only screwing with Jared.
Well, Nick,
You started to with me and then back down.
Well, here's the thing, Nick. Remember, I'm the one that gives you free
Eagle,
promotion on your channel.
I have to
Yes.
make
channel.
You scare me.
That's okay. I seem to scare most people. I'm kind of good with that. Sorry.
Remember, Nick, you don't want to screw with me either.
Oh?
Just that silence.
Yeah, I know. Like, what?
Just let it sit. But I mean, if you look into
Nick,
history,
remember-
the myths and legends that we ended up sharing, which often were the Germanic stuff, the Celto-Irish stuff, Egyptian, Chinese, Japanese, all those different kinds of cultures and myths that ended up getting propagated and shared, even if it was just in a literary sense, are the ones that we still draw on today.
Exactly.
And I keep telling people we need. I don't want a fucking token. I don't want a hand me down. I don't want. Give me someone else's mantle. Race swap, gender swap bullshit. We have how many hundreds of thousands of myths around the world to all these different cultures, all these different religions, all these different races that are unfucking touched that most people don't know. For fuck's sakes, even go to Greek mythology. How many people realize there's over 300 goddesses alone?
Yeah,
that was
really.
my.
Damn.
That was
how many?
That was my,
Including the
that
name
was my-
the word pancreas came from the name of one of the healer goddesses.
Well, it's not only that, because this is a point that I always bring up to the comic book crowd about race betting. I'm like, you don't need because these people don't realize that because the biggest lie in comics is that comics have always been just white straight male characters, and I'm like, that proves to me you don't know comics because you got John Stewart, Green Lantern, Icon, Apollo, Midnighter. These characters exist. No one's doing anything with them.
I know. Where's my Storm
Exactly.
movie?
Like you're talking about like digging from cultures. It's like how many African myths are there that would make for really amazing stories? And that's just talking about like African. What about like South American or like
Egyptian?
there's so many.
Any of the native to the American continents, from North America down to South America, there are thousands. With time you combine all three areas, there are thousands of tribes with massive amounts of mythology to each of them, and we are not the same. It's like trying to say everyone in Europe's the same.
Yeah,
there's so much
Perfect analogy.
mythology, history, culture, stories here that are untapped. There's tribes that are dead and out that we have documentation of their cultures yet that we could bring at least history to remember them.
Exactly.
Why? Why do we have to have somebody's hand-me-downs like we're fucking No, Wakanda pisses me off because they actually fucking stole a Lakota word for that shit. And then they whined about race swapping and blacks having things stolen from them. Fuck them. Sorry.
And destroyed Namor, a character that I already want to throw in a wood chipper.
Namor.
Oh.
So it really irks me when the people that are screaming about you're stealing my culture are the ones who are stealing shit from other cultures. It's like, okay, first of all, cultural appropriation is bullshit to a degree. There are things that are offensive when you're really degrading somebody's culture and trying to combine it with things that are offensive to it. But put those things aside because that's not the common norm. It's not cultural appropriation to be inspired or to take from another and learn from it, or to adapt something you saw that you like from another. That's fucking adaptation. It's human nature.
Now,
Exactly.
Eagle Rider. Correct me if I go too far off base with this one, but like one example of like bad cultural appropriation is how whenever you see a Native American depicted in media, it's always like this same like shamanist. Like, why are all Native American superheroes shamans? Like, why are all Native American superheroes?
We're not shaman anyways. Medicine men are not shamans. Shamans are mysticism. They're Eastern and they're against our culture. That's completely contrary culture.
Exactly.
But why do they always depict like them as like shamanistic, like nature spirits, or like Native American skinwalkers and shit?
Oh yeah.
Okay, first of all, skinwalkers is Navajo, and that actually comes from the South American culture and got adopted by Navajo. That is completely contrary to what most of the northern tribes believe. So again, when they portrayed that as it's not okay.
Yeah.
Let's
We
be
got
honest.
the fuck wedgies up here.
You can use some of that stuff, and that's fine. But first of all, you have to acknowledge the differences in cultures. I've had somebody tell me, and this is seriously, I was doing an interview with a friend, and this woman came into the chat, and we were talking about our backgrounds because this was an actual interview. And this person starts spewing all these anti-native slurs and tropes and stuff, and basically acting like we're all the same. And when I told her to shut up and respect my culture, she goes, I respect your culture. I adopted a Mohawk boy.
Ooh.
Like that makes it any better.
First of all, adopting somebody doesn't mean you respect their culture. Second of all, Mohawks, multi-theistic, agrarian, Eastern tribe. My side, Lakota, warrior-based, nomadic, monotheistic. Do you get the picture? We don't share almost fucking anything. We weren't even friends historically. We didn't like each other. It's like fucker.
So what you're saying is her son's tribe hunted your tribe.
No, kind of the other way around, actually.
Oh.
Look, my tribe was very much a warrior tribe. We were very aggressive, and not everything we did was right, okay? It was all based in an honor code, and you weren't allowed to attack innocent women and children. You weren't allowed to attack an unarmed enemy, all that stuff. So there was a good honor code behind it, but we kind of would fight with everybody.
Like the Irish.
Actually,
wait,
you know what's interesting about that?
Like Scots and Scots. Those damn Scots.
Okay.
Okay, I'm partially Irish.
You know how a lot of places use the
Same
Fighting
here.
Irish as a logo?
Yeah.
A lot of the tribal areas and the tribal schools in the Dakotas actually use Fighting Sioux. And in fact, one of the fucking schools, this is what tells you how fucking bullshit this government is. This school is just inside North Dakota from South Dakota on the res. The edge of the school's property sticks off the res. The school population is over 95% Sioux. The mascot was the Fighting Sioux, which was actually created as a conglomerate art piece that combined the facial structure of 6 of their main athletes in the year they created it. The federal government forced them to change it or lose the funding that's required to be sent to them by treaty because it was racist.
How is it racist? That's like an Irishman making a drunken Irish joke and being called that's insensitive. Bitch, I am Irish.
Wait.
I am drunk. What
Just
are you
to
fucking talking about?
point out how offensive I
Nick.
can be, let me sing a short little ditty that comes from a comedian team, one of which is from my tribe.
Eagle, before you do it, Nix, look at your name.
By the way, Nick.
Yes.
Did you see that episode of Seinfeld?
Wait, Eagle was
where
about
the
to say something, sorry.
Okay.
I was just going to give you guys a few seconds of me that people be offended. This little ditty comes from a stand-up routine from Williams and Ree. Terry Ree is part of the same tribe as me through Pine Ridge. How much is that doggy in the window? I'm really quite hungry, you see. Is that a Pomeranian or a pit bull? A real Indian delicacy. Yum, yum.
Oh, jeez.
Literally, no one else could sing that.
But I could, I'm
I
Asian.
want to say, do you remember that episode of? Do you remember that episode of Seinfeld where Jerry's concerned that his dentist converted to Judaism just for the jokes? Yeah, and then Jerry, a Jewish guy, goes to Catholic confession and goes, "I'm concerned that he joined Judaism just for the joke." It's you too, Father. He's also telling Catholic jokes.
Yes.
Okay, I had to do
love
that
it.
one because I know it pisses a lot of people off. In fact, I've had people try to flag streams I've done it on, and they lose because I always point out, this is my tribe, and this is a joke among my tribe.
Like you're saying, like Eagle's defense is, so you're saying I'm being, like, I'm telling a racist Indian joke. You do realize I am Native American. Like, it's like a black person making a black joke or whatever.
Do you know what a 7-course meal is on the reservation? A 6-pack and a puppy.
Oh, God.
Oh, jeez. Well, this is going to get taken down real fast.
Yeah, really. I mean, it's like me, a German, starting to sing "Springtime for Hitler."
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I have a collection of
All
stuff
right,
that
we
I
saw
bought.
that movie.
I have a collection. I have both versions, but anyway, I have a collection of stuff I bought in
wanna
Riverside
know why-
for the future
you wanna-
birthplace of Kirk. That's Live Fast, Die Red. It's got images of the red shirts dead with a phaser next to him and stuff like that on it.
You want to know
My
why the
dad
white
had
person
that
left the
shirt.
Korean
He decided
barbecue?
not to wear it to the res for hospital appointments.
Guys, you want to know why the white person left the Korean barbecue?
Oh.
There
Why?
wasn't enough mayonnaise.
Oh.
Hey, hey, I'm white, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, you're not white. You're glow in the dark. You almost look as bad as my albino skin.
Nick, if you were
Nice
any
Nick.
whiter, you would. If you were any whiter, you would vanish.
You just put me closer to you. Now you can see that you're almost
No.
as pale as my albino skin.
What
Easier.
you don't realize is Nick has a built-in cloaking system.
Like, do you see how stuff, like, okay, you want to know how Irish I am? Let me, so.
Two colors, red and white. That's it.
See here is Rose's skin. Here's mine.
Well,
she's gonna murder me, but I don't care.
You know, it's actually funny is I actually got really burned last summer when I was doing some of the work for my dad's funeral. And I went onto a stream a friend was having, and I looked like a tomato, and I went, "Hey, I finally look like the redskin I am." And he looked at me like,
he's like,
and started shaking his head. I'm sitting there going, "What?"
Yeah,
I've made that joke. I don't mind sunburns. I look more like I'm supposed to.
Yeah, like I went to a baseball game yesterday, and like the seats were actually like really good seats, like right past like the foul ball line. Well, like foul balls were coming straight at us. Like I was like 6 feet away from like the ball boy. It was really great. But it was right in the sun, and good game. We won. But yeah, I got roasted. See, I'm Irish, so if I even think about going outside, I get a sunburn.
So if he got roasted, that means they were serving roasted nuts.
Yeah. Let's just say I had to take extra care of the crotch area after I got home and took a shower.
I was just saying you
Oh,
were insane,
geez.
but let's go for it. I mean,
Well, both of those are legitimate like explanations, so there you go.
Yeah, she's just busting balls over here. I did catch a game ball, by the way. So.
When don't I bust balls and make fun of people? Lovingly, of
Well,
course.
See, the only person whose balls are supposed to bust are your husbands. But
No. That's not how it works.
Whoa.
That's not how it works. I'm the submissive. He's supposed to bust me, not the other way around.
Ooh. Okay.
So that's why I've seen a hammer.
See, you want to talk about colonizer? My husband is Scotch Irish Swede, and I'm the native girl, and I'm the submissive to him. So he's the one always. You could see how quickly that could go downhill.
Why am I all but certain you've actually played this as a role play?
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a sweet innocent angel.
Oh my
Like,
god!
why do I feel like you guys have played Cowboys and Indians before?
I have my sister's ex. He's still a brother to me. I've known him since I was a very little kid. He's ex-military. He's very cowboy. He's also a native boy, and he always talks about how he liked growing up because he could play cowboys and Indians by himself. He just has trouble getting the scalp on his own.
So I guess your husband can reenact Custer's Revenge whenever he wants.
Oh, damn.
Oh God, no.
Atari 2600.
We did what was needed to that fucker. So I'll just put it that way.
No, I'm Eagle. You know I'm referencing the Atari game, right?
I know. I know what that is. Trust me.
Like, I'm sorry, but that game is like so egregiously offensive. It is.
Yeah, that game is one of the few games that will offend pretty much almost everyone on both sides.
Look at Dave. I'm colonizing the mute button.
Aww.
Ooh.
I am buying this stream. Oh wait, it's my stream.
Oh, wait. No, Nick, you have to do it right. See, I'm buying this stream, and I'm setting new rules concerning
This
the
land
mute
ain't
button.
your land. This land is my land.
Who said
Get the hell
Superman?
off my land. Go find your own land. This land is my land. This land ain't your land. This land was made for Sue, not you.
I'm sorry,
way,
but
Nick.
we need a okay. By the way, we need a palate cleanser after this. So,
Do you want to hear something mildly disturbing I read in a Spider-Man
Wait.
comic?
wait.
Everything looks good from here.
Oh,
Yes.
I love this.
This is a
I love
fertile
Wash.
thrive. We will rule over all this land. We will call it this land. I think we should call it your grave. Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal. Mine is an evil laugh.
This is live footage of Nick storyboarding Screecher action scenes.
Sir, I didn't see you playing with your
By the
dolls
way.
again.
So in this comic, Norman Osborn meets Spider-Gwen, and he doesn't know Gwen's alive, but then he calls her Little Gwenny. And I'm like, oh no!
Oh
See,
no!
Let me show you. This is the last time that Norman Osborn really thought about Gwen.
I can't believe an artist had to draw that. That is the most disturbing part. I can imagine whoever was drawing that issue was like, he wants me to draw what?
Sleepaway Camp. The ending.
All right, guys. Tevio's been really patient. Let's just answer this question for him. So what do you guys feel about like Mary Jane having jackpot powers? I'm not really familiar with it. Could someone fill me in on it?
What
Let's
happens
face it,
is
Tiger. You hit the jackpot.
she has a magic watch, Nick, that basically acts like a slot machine at a casino, and when she and like it'll randomly assign her powers. But essentially they made Mary Jane. They made Mary Jane a superhero.
Oh God, she's not a
Jackpot.
superhero.
Hell.
I know. This is Zeb Wells strikes again.
That sounds dumb as fuck. I'm sorry.
Spider-Man fans losing again.
I mean, I could see like Mary Jane, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., like an Agent 13 kind of situation where like she works for S.H.I.E.L.D. like a super spy and he has like trained and whatnot. I could maybe see them doing that, but like
if it's done well.
He's taking her into being a hero more in the vein of the down-to-earth humans who use technology like Batman and I could see at some point, but trying to give her powers is just dumb as fuck.
Well,
Well,
here's
not
the
only
thing.
that, it also
Does she
kind
need
of
to be a hero?
ruins her original role. Which
No,
was
she doesn't
being
need to be.
Peter
She was
King.
proudly a love interest. She was proudly trying to find love and all that. Why do they act like no woman can want to have a family, can want to be a housewife? Why do they
that's
act
propaganda.
like we're only
because they're
allowed to
toxic,
have
Eagle.
choice as a woman if we choose what they want us to choose?
like that's you see this all the fucking time where it's like women have the right to choose to be anything. Okay, then I choose to be a loving housewife. No, you can't do
You're
that.
supporting the patriarchy, Nick.
All you people who say women have a right to choose what they want, I'm a happy little submissive trad wife. Fuck you.
And you know what?
Yeah, and
you
the
know
thing
what?
is,
Good
it
for you.
ruined Mary
Good for you,
Jane's
Rose. Good
original
for you.
role.
You made your
She was
choice.
Peter's anchor to the real.
Yep,
Peter's life
exactly.
is so beyond bizarre and so
She crowns
odd,
him.
and he grew up a normal boy. So this would warp his personal view of the world. So Mary Jane acted as his anchor to real life, especially once she had married him. It's like because he could tell her what he had been doing, and she goes, "Oh wow, this is some really wacky stuff." And then he would have to sit there and think, "Oh yeah, this isn't normal." She was his anchor to prevent him from basically just going, full on, out of touch with the normal
look at it this
everyday
way.
human world.
Nerds were as nerds, we tend to be on the outskirts of society and almost out of touch to that degree. Anyways, he was a nerd turned superhero. He's not connected to people the way most people are. He's going to struggle with understanding other humanity. That's just a natural part of what he was in his evolution. He needs a grounding to understand plights and experiences with other people in order to see both sides. It's like me and my husband today. We're the perfect nerd together. I am absolutely history, literature, mythology, cultures, language. He is math, science, technology, avionic engineer as you get, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
We're not the same kind of nerd at all. We have, other than the nerd factors where there's nerd shows we connect on, we have almost none of the same intelligence or interests. But we fill each other. We actually help each other understand the other sides of it and kind of have a more grounded nerd life between us.
And you know what? That's what it should be, because the whole thing about couples is they should complement each other. Where one person lacks, the other makes up for. That's the whole point of marriage, relationships. That's really the whole point of all this stuff. Is we look for someone who
Amen to that.
Who we fill in their blanks and they fill in ours. It's like the whole yin yang shit. It's like that's what the way all good relationships work is foundation of like, yeah, you're maybe good at this thing, but I'm good at this thing, and we work well together.
Yeah, but that's a relationship, and that's.
I wanted to comment on Lee Murphy's comment there about that fucking show, because I have a couple things to say about that shit. Because the whole geek chic movement, while it seemed like it would be okay at the beginning, turned really bad fast. But that show was basically a long extended cliche of every derogatory thing that normies think about nerds.
Yeah, basically.
There was no intelligence in the. There was no intelligence to that.
I have a hot take. This is gonna get clipped. Big Bang Theory is a nerd minstrel.
And then he cuts out.
Yep.
That was perfect. His own internet.
It was.
He's saying a nerd minstrel show, and I agree.
Minstrel.
It really was.
Okay.
Minstrel show.
Yeah.
In other words, nerd blackface.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Wait, Nick. Wait. Tevye, why despite me for John Kent? I told you I liked John Kent as a kid. You can still have John Kent without Lois. They did it with Wonder Woman. I'm saying she's...
Tevye, you're welcome to bring this up on CLD, which, by the way, tune into CLD tonight at 12:15 a.m. on Jared's channel.
I have a big announcment on CLD. I just want to...
Where you'll have the boys without the loudmouth woman.
By the way, Jared, there's your plug. I hope you're grateful. Oh,
thank you.
Shit, if we're going to do
David
plugs,
Lee
can I plug
has
my
this to
own
say
stuff
about-
too?
David Lee says this about CLD, so.
Yeah.
Speaking of, by the way, getting plugged, how much longer is this? I mean, just kidding. I'm just giving you shit.
We can wrap it up if you want.
I'm just giving you shit. I'm just giving you shit.
I just let things go as long as like.
No, I'm having fun hanging out. The thing is, okay. We all complain about. It's interesting though that the one thing that people don't get is sometimes those horrible stereotypes were liked. I could give you an example. Grew up in a very big Native family. My dad very much in the culture and stuff. Two of his favorite things from his youth were Go-Go Gophers and F Troop.
Oh, I love F Troop.
Do you know how much racial stereotyping the natives were in those two things?
Oh, yeah.
My dad loved them. F Troop had no native actors. They were all Italian. And you got one point where he's sitting there yelling and ranting at the guys because they had a deal fall through. And he goes, "You're going to fix this or me sue it." No, wait, no. Me Hikawi, me not sue.
The Fagawi tribe.
That is such
so where the Fagawi?
Yeah, that's how they got their name, Nick. Because what happened is that the tribe in the show, this is how they explained it. The tribe went for a walk, got lost, and then said, "Where the heck are we?"
Yeah.
So
That's
Chris,
how they explain how the tribe got its name.
So Chris, since you are a host, you have plug-in privileges. Is there anything you want to give promotion to? If anything you want to share?
Oh, sure. Let me let's see.
Yes. So currently the three hosts are me, Chris, and Jared, and so those are the ones who pretty much can just plug whatever they want. Anything else you want to ask me, and I'll probably say yes.
Sweet, man. Yeah, let's see. I think I can share. Yeah, if you can embiggen me.
Embiggen the man.
Embiggen him.
Make him larger, Nick.
Make them large. Make their little heads large. I mean, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
And then she goes history of the world. I'm just saying.
Yeah, this is my comic book series that I've been working on. It's based off of a 30-plus-year-old fantasy role-playing game system that I also developed way back when. But we've already have our first book that's was released, crowdfunded back in 2021, and is available on Amazon right now. Under $10, the kids love it. And number two, we're in the process of developing it now. And the cool thing about it is the theme of twos, where not only will we have this book being twice the page count of the second book, of the first book, which was 52 pages. This one's going to be over 100 pages. But we also have two art teams working on this book, giving you two separate books in a variant. So you can, instead of just having a variant cover, you can have a variant book where you're getting two views into this world from two different art teams. So we have version 1 here, which you can see. There's a free 15-page preview.
Wait, are you digitally pulling the pages?
Yeah. Woo!
That is cool. How do you do that?
JavaScript. But yeah, so you can basically.
Is there a way? Okay, we need to talk after the stream.
And here's the same book now done by a different art team. So you literally have your options on how you'd like to kind of view this story. So we have Team A, who did the first book, and Team B, who's doing this variant book of this 100-plus page story. And we're also working on some of our merchandising. So we had some of the previous acrylic standees, or double-sided posters, our holofoil large cards. And I'm also fired up my 3D printer to do these NFC-enabled figurines. If you've ever seen Nintendo Amiibo, that's basically what these are. You can swipe them on your phone and get character information about them. So yeah,
I really like what I really want to do someday is like create printed like stands of my characters, but have like the comics actually in there. So like if you NFC it onto your phone, you can actually get them onto your phone or something.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
how cool! Like that would be so cool to do.
Yeah, that's totally possible. I mean, you just send a URL to it, and then we also kind of for the nerds who like to delve deeper into the worlds of our geekly fandoms. We also have this lovely lore section that breaks down all the different characters, as well as like the geography. We even went into studies of some of the languages, which was kind of cool because in the first book, there's this ancient language, Slerith, which is kind of alluded to in the story. They visit these ancient ruins, but there's a special decoder card that you could get if you had backed the first book, or you could just use this and actually translate what's being said. as well as the language of Tilthwith, which is the language of the elves. And we have a nice little sentence here written out, so you can use a little cipher here to say what it says. We also go into explore the worlds of magic, because the Infinitale story, or at least the War of the Trees saga that we're promoting, is kind of the origins of the elves and the Fey world, and how it was basically doomed. And we're getting to see kind of the discovery of magic and how the elves became these spiritual beings of magic and kind of that otherworldly supernatural stuff. And I think, so we're planning on having the entirety of the 10-book series, and as you can see, they're all laid out here, and then at the end putting it all together into a nice big omnibus of the
that is going to be a really big book, and I cannot wait.
Oh, that's going to be a tome.
I like it big, I gotta say. I mean,
that's what I said.
And if you're interested in book 1, it's available on Amazon right now, so it's 100% accessible. You don't have to worry about shipping, or if you're part of if you're on Amazon Prime or whatever, you could actually download the PDF. I believe if you're part of Kindle or whatever, you can just get the PDF for free. So
nice.
We got a little trailer for the story to get a breakdown. It's got an awesome narration from Chris Tester, who's an amazing VO artist, and he's doing the voice of Kaelin, or Quailin, as it's pronounced in Gaelic. Who's this ginger that, when we do the Netflix adaptation, will not be a black woman.
Sorry. Speaking as one of the only native women who's naturally a ginger, hail the gingers. I mean,
thanks for the opportunity, man. Thanks for having me, and I'm glad I got a chance.
Have you seen my hair?
Yes, gingers unite.
Dirty ginger. Mine's dark gingers. So,
well, actually, I'm a strawberry blonde, so that's what I am.
Strawberry blonde is a type, but actually, strawberry blonde is in what's considered the dirty blonde or the pale ginger. You're in the cross between.
I'm a crossbreed. I know.
You're a half breed. Get it right. I mean,
I am the half-blooded prince, so we all know that.
You're a half-blooded something.
Okay.
I'm about to half-blooded kick your ass if you don't stop.
Oh my god.
All right.
Remember the night I knocked you down.
We better end this before Nick and I actually start dueling.
So, all right, let's kind of do some
fight.
Mortal Kombat. All right.
Get over here.
All right. So, for those waiting for Turn Samurai Issue 3, it is currently in print. I did receive the proofs today, which is the digital proofs, and everything was great, and I emailed them. So they're going to receive that email on Monday. This week was kind of a little bit weird because it was 4th of July week, so things were kind of off. But the proof period is done, so I'm hoping I can have the books in my hand by the end of next week, and they're going to be shipped off to RJ from Critical Blast. So not too much longer for people to get their books. And as far as Screecher is concerned, we are working on it right now. The thumbnails are done. The halves are done. Pages 1, 2, and 3 are penciled. Pages 1 is inked. We're actually going to do a test color here. We're actually doing it right now. We're kind of getting working on what's going to be the color. So you can expect to see page 1 colors, maybe even lettered, here probably sometime mid to late next week. I'll have that to show off for Screecher. There'll be some cool stuff. Jared, you've seen a lot of that stuff. So that's going really good. And if you like my content, but you want a little bit early, feel free to join my Patreon, because on that one I do release my videos like a day early or so. You can watch those, and I do post behind the scenes stuff there. Let me just okay. I'm going to post the link right here, and it's only $3 for the basic tier, and that gives you Patreon access and all that stuff, Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the Patreon right now to kind of show people. All right, so here's the link. And then if you want to join, $3 gets Patreon access. $5 gets you like basically when the digital stuff comes out, you get that for free. $8 you get access to behind this. You get access to the after party. So like the after show, I'll do for these. Then once a month, once things get going, I'll do a movie night where like we watch a movie or some TV shows on my Discord and we comment on it. And then for $10, you can get a physical comic book when they come out. $20, you can actually pick the movie. That's the one that Jared's going to pick once things get going. You basically get to pick whatever movie or TV show. And if it's a TV show, I'll watch. It's basically 2 episodes. I'll watch those. So Jared wants to pick Gotham Knights. So like once he gets that, I'll watch.
So what we're gonna do is that there's 4 to 5 of us that normally co-host Comics League. So what I want to do, we're each gonna contribute $20. Then we're gonna make it so Nick has to watch the entire season of Gotham Knights.
Yeah,
it'll be fun.
True torture.
I enjoy seeing Nick suffer. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Nick.
Don't feel bad. I enjoy watching anybody suffer.
So yeah, so
I don't feel bad about that. Trust me.
So yep, we're wrapping up here. So yeah, Eagle. Once all that's just going, you're probably going to want to grab the $8 streamer tier and watch that kind of torture. Yep. So
nope, too broke.
That is fair. So that book is going to be Screecher 2 is coming out in October. That's what we're shooting for. It's going really good. And then after that, we'll start work on Turn Samurai issue 4. So yeah, that book is wrapping up. That's going to be really good. So as the last thing, we're going to kind of go around. Everyone can kind of like say what they need to say, kind of shout out for stuff. We're going to start with Eagle and then kind of work our way. So Eagle, Jared, Nix, Shion, Chris, and then we'll be good from there. So try and keep it brief. Don't go, but let's Eagle. What do you want to say?
Mostly just pay attention to all these guys here. I will be hopefully getting my show going back up in Monday nights here soon. Other than that, if you follow my channel, it's pretty much animal stuff usually. So that's about it.
Jared, what do you want to say besides F you, Nick?
That's a good enough start.
Well, for one, F you, Nick. But second off, they're nice, Nick. They're nice, Nick. Remember, I give you free promotion.
My kingdom.
My free promotion. So anyway, I have Comics League Dark tonight, which is my new show where all of us get together and talk news. I have a pretty big announcement for Comics League on there, and I just released a new fan edit I put together, which retells the death of Superman, but if Wonder Woman was with Superman instead of useless Lois, yes, I will put that addendum before Lois Lane's name every chance I get, and yeah, just enjoying making content.
All right, Nix, what do you want to say?
Fuck the Big Bang Theory.
Okay.
That's it. That's all I have.
Okay, Nix, I love you now. Wow.
So that's it. That's a tweet. Okay, cool. Shion, what do you want to say?
All right. Well, if you want to catch more of me, I actually do stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I actually, about an hour after this, I'm going to go live on my Twitch channel. Going to play some Kingdom Hearts. You can catch me at Loremaster under Shiro, the name that's on this. Other than that, I'm currently working on making some games. I'm in pre-alpha, so unfortunately I don't exactly have much to show right now, but hopefully in the next year or two, I'll at least be out of pre-alpha work and into alpha work. So
nice.
Hopefully I'll have some more to share later on.
Awesome. Chris, what do you want to say?
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. I had a blast tonight. We're going on like 4 hours of this. This is a freaking sweet stream, man.
Yeah.
It's almost as long as the Snyder Cut.
He had to bring that up, but I do not blame him.
You're all crazy fuckers.
It's always a good time to bring up Snyder's name.
No shit.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. thank you for coming by. Congratulations, Chris, on making a co-host. Everyone else who is here, thank you, and I hope to have you guys on again. And as always, this has been Nick from Phoenix Press. And remember, I can only show you the door. You're the ones who walk through it.